Hello and welcome to GeekVerse Sidequest. Here we are doing our 2024 video game preview. It's going to be a good time. I'm your host, Dylan Muss, and I have with me the Clown Prince of Podcasts, Travis Snell. How's it going?
Hey, yo, good. I'm excited to talk about some video games. Excited, new year. Got some snow going on. It's a good day.
New year, new you. You got the hair like Geralt of
New
Rivia
year,
right
new
now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. if he wishes he was this handsome, so.
He wishes. We also have the preview himself, Taylor Field. How's it going?
Oh, it's going good. I mean, Travis alluded to it. It's snowy and it's beautiful outside, and I'm just happy to be here.
I love that. And then we have the gamer, Kirkland Patzer. How's it going?
Very good. I guess I'll talk about the snow too. We shredded up the mountain today, and it was fantastic.
Nice.
The snow was the best it's been by far. So yeah,
It wasn't the
it was a
ugly
good
like
day.
wet snow that turns into ice. It was like nice.
It was
nice snow
powder.
for you.
I was floating on the mountains. I'm so impressed with my progress. I'm just getting good. I'm gonna be like just a professional. I don't know what snowboarders are professionals these
professional.
days. I feel like I'm gonna be professional by the
Sean
end of the
White.
season. Sean, he's so old. I feel like that's such an old
Does that make
person.
him
He can't be
professional?
competing anymore.
Guarantee he is. Let's see. Another time. Another time.
Next
another
cast.
time. Yeah, next. Let's circle back to that.
Yeah, here we are. This is our video game preview for 2024. Next week, of course, we're going to be doing our draft where we're all going to pick a few games that we think are going to get the best ratings of the year. So this is a good thing to do the week before, so we can really get in all the information, look at what's coming out, and then make those nice intellectual decisions. Now, going into this, and I don't know if you guys have really looked much at this list, but I feel like right now, out of any other year I can think of in the past few years, I feel like we have very few actual release dates
Yes.
going into this year. So we have really things charted out pretty well like until March, but that's only like the third month of the year. And then really there's a couple things dotted, and then there's a lot of things that just have that number of 2024 without an actual
December 31st.
date or just that classic tentative date. So we're going to go through the things that, of course, have actual release dates, and then we'll do kind of discussion on Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo, and then some of the other non-big three sort of things. So we'll get through it all. But yeah, it's a little bit more up in the air, I would say, this year.
Can you remind me when we get to the end when we have no dates to bring up Beyond Good and Evil? It's not what you think, but just someone remind me to bring that up because
I'll write
there's
it
something
down.
on the schedule I see here. Just give me a nice chuckle. So
I love the sounds of
it's a
that.
tease.
Anyone have any thoughts before we get into it, or you guys want to just hop right in?
No, I think we talked about whatever Sidequest I was on last with you. I thought we were like, oh, what game's out next year? And we just did a quick scope, and it's like, oh, like it's not a bad thing because there's definitely still going to be games that come out, especially in the fall. There's always stuff in the summer that comes out that gets a date. But like, I'm not honestly mad if there is like a little bit like a little break of massive games because there's so much from last year that people said, oh, we're game of the year and I got to catch up on. And 2025 is looking like it feels like video games and movies are both doing that where it's like, oh, there's stuff coming out, but like the big stuff is like we're getting ready for 2025. But I'm sure there's still going to be stuff that, and no, what's fun about that is this gets to be the build up the year. Then that's when you get all the trailers and the other news. But I'm sure fall will get stacked as usual. It won't look like that right now, but I'm sure when we get to July, we'll be like, there's a lot of stuff coming out in September, like every year.
Yeah, I feel like there's a few things that lead into it. Like 2023 was such a huge year for releases across the board, like big indie games, big AAA games, like all the developers, all the publishers showing up to release their big stuff. So it seems like, okay, maybe this is a bit of a down year, but then I also look at something like Xbox, and I think they've got burned by putting release dates out there too soon. So I feel like maybe that's part of their thing right now is like, yeah, we're just going to throw 2024 on stuff, but not actually put a date on it because like Redfall and Starfield both got delayed a bunch of times. And then something like Nintendo, like there's so many rumors of the Switch 2 finally coming out. So I feel like there's a big reason why they wouldn't have too many more release dates because until we really know what their hardware is, we're kind of waiting on that. So we'll talk about that stuff when we get closer to it. But yeah, let's go to the very start of the year here, January. The first big release of the year is, I would say, Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown on the 18th, which, I think there's been some interest from the crew here. Anyone thinking of maybe picking this one up, or more just looks like a cool release, but maybe not necessarily one you're going to be getting?
Definitely a cool release. I feel like a lot of the games that will be on my interest level, but not like day one purchases for me. I'm just going to be hoping that they eventually make it onto like the PlayStation equivalent Game Pass, the PlayStation Plus, whatever it is. So That one is definitely one that I would love to get my hands on someday, but not necessarily a day one. I have like a soft spot in my heart for Prince of Persia, but I don't even necessarily know why, because I feel like I've played so little of the games. I don't think I've ever owned actually a Prince of Persia. I've only ever played 2 of them, and they were both at or one at my cousin's house, one at my friend's house. But I don't know. It's just maybe it's like I grabbed onto that like that IP at a young age, so it just kind of like stuck with me in my growth as a gamer. So yeah, I'm interested in that one at least.
Nice. Okay, moving on.
No,
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
I guess no, I'm not going to be getting it.
Oh, thanks. Thanks for. Let's make sure we
No.
get that on.
Before we move along, I have to say I do not.
Let's circle back. No, I'm not getting it. No, I just I think it's good for this game though, that it could be. I think it has a potential to be a sleeper hit. I also think it has a chance to just be forgotten and everything. But no, I've never played a Prince of Persia game like from start to finish here and there. But I don't think this would be the one I jump into, even though there's things I like about it. But it's just there's a backlog in my life. But no, I'm more interested to see how this does and if this like kickstarts the franchise again, because I feel like there's all the time when we were doing the E3 cast, like, oh, when's the new Prince of Persia coming? It's like, well, it's finally here. Are those people still around? And I'm also surprised, Sarah, you have nothing to say, because I feel like it's in your Assassin's Creed sort of bandwagon, like.
Yeah, for me, Assassin's Creed is its spiritual kind of successor of what Prince of Persia was. And my friends were always into Prince of Persia, but I never really got into it that much. Not gonna lie, I totally thought this game came out already. And when I kept seeing this, like the Lost Crown, I was like, oh, is this like a DLC for it? I don't know why I thought it dropped in like late 2023. But it's cool. I think visually it looks beautiful. And it's something I would definitely try at some point, not a day one, though.
Yeah. I think I'm just like, when it comes to 2D platformers or Metroidvanias, which this looks like, or 2D, like specifically action combat games like this, I feel like I really need to be sold on it in a big way. And this one, looks cool and all, but yeah, definitely not one I'm picking up day one. And then PlayStation's releasing the Last of Us Part 2 remaster on the 19th, which is something I was very negative of when they first announced this. I'm like, what is Naughty Dog doing over here? Is wasting all their time on like one of the most talented studios to make all these remasters and remakes of games that are still pretty modern. But the more we've got info on this, it seems like there actually is quite a bit more there. Of course, it's going to look great and probably have better frame rate and all that stuff, but it's adding a roguelike mode as well, similar to that God of War DLC that just came out. It's like a big thing these days. There are big AAA games having like roguelike DLCs. So it seems like there's a lot more to it. And, if you already own the game, you can get one of those classic $10 upgrade sort of things. So it's all right. It's not the most exciting thing, of course, but I think there's at least something there to chew on.
I might go in because obviously I don't have Ragnarok. I might do the $10 and try the roguelike mode. Like I don't think I'd replay the game. I'm not in that mindset where I need to go through all of Last of Us, and if I do, that'll be I want to start from the very beginning. But especially because we just got the show, I still don't feel like I'm far enough away from it where it's like, oh, I really want to venture back in there. But maybe I've not done much Rogan in my life, so maybe if I'm getting an itch. So.
I think that actually would be a good way to get into the genre for you through a game that you're already familiar with, through like that AAA lens could be a nice way to do it.
And it's $10. That's where it's like that you can't really go wrong. So I like, and obviously it's probably 15, 20 for us, but still it's like that's a nice little update. So I'm again, that one's interesting me as far as sales, because I do wonder. We've talked about before of like, oh, I feel like it's a very successful game. Where are the people that missed it? But it does have a new audience with the show, right? So maybe there are people that go, well, I've never played through, because that's what I did with the first one. I didn't get on 3, I had on 4. So maybe it's the same way people with Part 2 that they didn't get on 4, but they'll get on 5. So.
Yeah, Kirkland, as a PS5 owner, does this interest you at all, and especially after you really loved the show last year?
Not so much. I feel like it's.
Wow.
I don't know.
Gonna wait for season 2 of the show.
Exactly.
That's what you're hyped for.
I think it is kind of what Travis was saying, where it's not like it hasn't been enough time between maybe the show and this release that it's like, oh, this really just wants to get me back into the vibe. But like, I also still have the what is it, the PS4 version or PS3 version, whatever one, like the original one was. So
Last of Us 1?
Yeah. So
yeah, because you didn't get Last of Us 2, right?
Yeah, no, exactly.
Okay, just the way you said that.
I still got
that
copy.
Yeah, okay. When you said you still have the copy of 2, I'm like, why do you have the copy of 2? But
I guess I was thinking in parts, but yes, I've part 1 and 2 of the original version.
Plus, is there a
That
part
came
of
as
you
one collection.
Wait, what? Now I'm actually
Okay.
confused.
is there a part of you that doesn't want to play it too to be spoiled either? Like, or do you want to specifically just get that in the show now? So you're like, oh, the game's dead to me until the show's over.
Not necessarily. Like I think it's just for what it's releasing, and like I don't know, it's not in the budget. It's not
fair.
budget. Maybe that's the main thing. So there you
That's
go.
fair. Yeah.
Next up is Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, which this happened last year. So for anyone who forgets, Yakuza is rebranded to Like a Dragon. As of the game that was called Yakuza Like a Dragon, they just switched over,
Yeah.
which I think is fun. Man, these games, especially in the last few years, have really been capturing my attention. I really want to check them out. Still have not played one. And this new one looks so great. That initial trailer for it was so funny. I love the vibe. I love the setting of it. It's just tricky. It's like, do I want to try it out for $90 when there's like 8 other Yakuza games all on Game Pass right now? Like that seems like such a better way for me to go see if I actually like the series before jumping into the new one. So I don't think I'll be picking it up, but man, it's like every trailer I see for it, I'm like, I just want to play it more and more. So I'm there's a chance I just last minute buy it.
Oh, I was gonna say that. I think that's a good, solid end of the year 50% off purchase. For you.
Right, and if all of them have been coming to Game Pass, like
Yeah.
maybe this one will later on, or maybe even later this year. Who knows?
Yeah. Dylan's gonna
Could
do
be.
it. He's got that itch, and if it gets, it's slow. There's nothing.
Well,
like,
I mean, if they're on it, if there aren't too many huge releases in like the second half of the year, I'm sure there will be. But if there isn't for some reason, that might be one that I really need something to fill out that Game of the Year list.
Yeah.
Go back to that one.
I just feel like with January and February, I'm sure you'll shout something out. But I feel like if you don't have a big new game that's taking up your time, something's knocking at your door. And you're like, oh, I'm gonna make the purchase.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's Suicide Squad.
I'm gonna leave that one for you. Is anyone else? I'm guessing no one else here is really interested in Like a Dragon. That's definitely a blind spot for us as a
Yeah.
crew.
Yeah,
Yeah, no.
Unfortunately,
it's gonna be.
Not for me.
I'm gonna continue to be Daredevil on that one. So
Mm-hmm. And then Tekken 8 is coming out the same day on the 26th here. Yeah, Tekken was as people who have listened for a while know, I'm not like a huge 2D fighting game guy. And if there was one I was going to pick up recently, it would have been Mortal Kombat or maybe Street Fighter 6. Tekken's never really been my bag. I played a little bit of as a wee lad, but not the one for me. I'm guessing you guys are still busy with your Mortal Kombats over there, not really interested in the Tekken. But any thoughts on this new one? Apparently, like everything. There's been like betas and open whatever's weekends. People have played the game, and everything I'm hearing about it makes it sound great, but still just not my genre necessarily.
Yeah, my loyalties with the Mortal Kombats of the world, and definitely like I feel like for these fighters, it's like the big 3 are Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, and Tekken. But for some reason, I just don't really know a lot of people that are like really into Tekken. Like I know the Mortal Kombat fans, I know some Street Fighter fans, but then Tekken just kind of slips through the cracks. But the only time I've ever played
don't
it
go
actually was
public.
at stream.
They don't
Sorry,
go
what's that, Taylor?
public.
No, they're underground. That's the
Yeah,
thing. You know,
exactly. They're at the illegal Tekken
it's
tournament.
like a Hydra situation.
Yeah.
Like, you just hug someone, they're like Tekken 8. I'm excited to play this on the charity stream one day when we download and we're like, look at this panda, look at this thing. Like I feel like that's always the game that we can't download Street Fighter, and if we don't have Mortal Kombat, oh look, there's always a Tekken, and we had a great time with that. Remember for Gauntlet, we did it for a random match, and it was a fun time, and nothing wrong with it. But I think it's just like the hierarchy of games. Like even then, it's like there's other fighting games. I'd wait for another Injustice. I'd even still kind of wait for like a Marvel Capcom. Like it just the most I played Tekken is I used to have an arcade version of it where we have our cabin in the States. There's like if you go up, there's like a I don't know, like this weird resort area where there's a pool and there's a barbecue, and then inside there's like an arcade section, and there's always a Tekken there, and that's the most I've ever played was on the sticks. And
Nice.
yeah, so no, I'll play that one in a couple years.
It's definitely got like the craziest assortment of characters, I
Yes.
think, out of all of the fighters that at least I've played. Just the fact that they do have those like bear creatures and
Pandas and all, yeah.
yeah,
Respect,
just
respect,
wild.
yeah.
Respect.
Yeah. I should say also that when we're going through this list, I'm not talking about every single game that has a release date right
You're
now.
not
I'm
talking
just trying to
about
pick
how?
the ones. I'm just trying to pick the ones that I think will be of interest, or are, even if they're not of interest, like a Tekken or like a Dragon, they're still big relevant releases. So yeah, that's how it's going to be. That was all the ones I had picked for January. Did you guys have any other ones that you see on the list there that seem noteworthy to you?
No, I'm looking through right now. Turnip Boy robs a bank seems kind of fun. Oh, I don't know. I just like the title, but
That's
I'll
like the
shut-
third game. Yeah, those games
Really?
they have their niche audience. I mean, they're crushing them every
That looks
couple of
like
years
a-
or so. They release a new one.
Looks like a Game Pass game for sure.
Cool.
I think one of them's on Game Pass. Oh, okay, that's funny. Moving on to February. February 2nd, we have Persona 3 Reload, which, I'm not a encyclopedic knowledge on Persona, but I'm pretty sure this was a PSP or Vita or PSP game, one of the two. And this is kind of like the remake, whatever, for home consoles and that sort of thing. And this one's also coming to Xbox, even though it's traditionally been a PlayStation thing. I think it's a Game Pass Day 1 sort of thing. So this is a big release for the fans of Persona, but once again, the first bit of the year here, big blind spot for us. I feel like the four of us, there's just not huge games for the GeekVerse in particular.
Yeah, like I don't have anything to say on Persona, but I think that's really cool because you always have those hardcore fan bases. Like for me with the Batman games, the Arkham fans are always just begging for Origins, and it's never going to announce, it's never going to remastered. But it's like one day if it happens, I'll be huge. So it's like that's cool. That's like some sort of Vita, like this very smaller game that I'm sure that the fans are really hyped about. So I think that's cool for them that you get one of those releases that you might have thought, are we ever going to see anything like that? It wasn't a console game, so that's cool. But no, one day Persona's like a retirement game for me. Like when I'm 55,
Yeah.
that I will one day jump into it, but I've just heard the time sunk it is. So it's like
I just Googled how long to beat Persona 3. 81 hours. Like, no thanks.
Yeah.
I'm instantly out. Like, I don't want to
Yeah.
sign up for that.
I gotta beat real life first before I can go live in Persona 5. But one day before I die, I will try them out.
Yeah. It's on Game Pass. Taylor, you gonna be checking it out?
Oh, I've heard good things about it, but
I know
just
you put
don't
300 hours in
know.
Call of Duty. You got 80 hours to spare. Come on, put that into Persona.
Yeah. Oh, that's 80 hours of Call of Duty time, though, Dylan.
That's valuable
maybe
time.
maybe
for you.
one day. When I'm in the retirement home with Travis, maybe we'll pop it on the.
Retirement
Do you guys think
home.
that'll actually
TV.
happen? 60 years from now, all four of us are in the same retirement home. Do
60.
you think we'll be sitting there playing Persona?
I've mapped it up so I can retire at 55. So I'm gonna be not that.
You're in the
old.
retirement home though at that age. Would you?
No,
say?
I'm just gonna be done my job. I've mapped it out
But
with
that's
what I get.
this is the
Okay, so we're
setting is that
together?
we're all in the retirement home.
No, we're probably playing. No,
we're
I
jumping
think,
into a Baldur's Gate campaign. That's when we're finally jumping in.
We have arthritis, so we can't use the controllers. We're gonna be playing Avalon, and we're all gonna have dementia. So we're always going, you're lying. You're like
Right.
no one's gonna know
Yeah.
who the killer is.
Oh no, at
That's
Probably
55.
true.
That's a
Yeah.
sad end to the podcast.
Or just Mario Party, button
Oh
mashing. all.
yeah, Mario Bros. Strikers. just-
WarioWare. There
Fire
you
in the
go.
sky,
Break
fire
some
in the
hips.
sky.
I'm not playing that WarioWare game when I'm like.
Taylor's
80
still
years old.
dancing like he is, like he's in his 20s.
Hey, if you're gonna go out and WarioWare. You know,
That's true.
so-
Years ago.
Speaking of going out, Suicide Squad kill the Justice League. So, Travis, you've
Yep.
technically played this game. Technically, you're not allowed to talk about it. Technically, but I don't know. What do you think about this?
All I can say is I wasn't planning on picking it up before, and my opinion hasn't changed. That's all I'll say, and I think that gives you enough. That I'm not speaking on anything of my playing experience. I will say that it is the only thing I'll say about this. It's shitty that they had a situation where they had a bunch of stuff leak out from the main story, and that went everywhere.
Ooh.
So for the people that do want to play it right away, that does suck because a lot of the characters' fates got revealed. Some of it did end up being not true, so that's good. The hacker lied about some stuff, but there's other stuff that's just full on screenshots or clips that were out there. So that sucks. So maybe again, but yeah, this is again the same thing. I'm interested. I will play this game one day. It's just that I will wait because me and Taylor, we got Gotham Knights. I had a good enough time. I still gotta go and play it. But the fact that now it's like $10-15 is like, oh, I could have waited. It's the same thing with Squad.
And it's on
like,
Game Pass too, so I feel like
Yes.
this maybe would have the same fate.
so
potentially.
when it's that type of level, I'll definitely jump in. But this is not. There's so much backlog stuff. So
Yeah.
this one I'm just curious to see. But I think I already had the crystal ball. We've talked about this many times. I do not think this thing is going to do well. I guess the only thing is that helps that there's not too much stuff out in January or February. So
Yeah, I don't think
maybe-
I said, but this is coming out the 2nd as well of February, so pretty
Yeah.
early on in the year.
But no, not for me. This is like the first comic book game I'm not buying. I don't know when.
Yeah.
I've bought them all, and I feel like obligated to. But
Especially
They've
from
sh-
Rocksteady, so it's
yeah, oh yeah, that's the
how
sad
far they've
thing, but-
fallen, you know.
Yeah, I literally couldn't name you. It'd be one of the Injustice games. That's one of the games I haven't bought. But the last decade, I've bought everything. So yeah, it sucks, but
Yeah.
not for me.
Taylor, as a fan of Gotham Knights, and a fan of 2016 Suicide Squad, 10 out of 10. I mean, this feels like
Right.
ripe for the picking for you. I mean, are you picking this up?
No, I'm not going to pick it up. If it goes on Games Pass, then I definitely would be interested in trying it out. But
We just gotta play more Knights because Knights was legitimately fun in multiplayer. Like that
the
was a good
multiplayer, that was a lot
time.
of fun.
Yeah.
Is it?
I'm totally down. Oh,
How
yeah.
many players
yeah.
online?
No,
Well, no, it was 3, right?
It's just-
3?
Oh, I don't know.
Or is it just 2?
3
Because
is
it's
around
on
there.
it's on the
Two.
PlayStation Game Pass
just-
thing as
is it
well.
there
It's
too?
ju-
So,
yeah, it was. I think there was the complaint that it was just 2, but it was a super fun time. The
mind then.
drop in was easy. Like you can drop in really at any point. It was just and like just tactical. Like it was a good time. It was a fun time. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah, playing as
like me
different
a good
characters is a
time.
lot of fun. So that being said, I feel like I'm on the more positive end to want to play this game. I'm not going to get it day one. I do want to try it, but I feel like I've just been a lot more receptive to everyone's negativity surrounding it and their like displeasure and loathing of this title that it's kind of put me in like, okay, yeah, no day one. But if it's on Games Pass, I will absolutely give it a whirl because I love those Arkham games. Those are fantastic. This is Rocksteady coming back to just tackle that same universe. So I'm very interested.
who you playing? Or does it cycle like story wise?
Oh, I mean, I like all the characters that they got on there, like Harley Quinn,
Yeah.
Boomerang, and King Shark. Those are
Think-
pretty awesome.
I think Boomerang or Deadshot might be your guy. I think Boomerang
Deadshot,
could be one if I were to guess.
Definitely King Shark. That seems like the Taylor pick.
You think so?
I think so. It's like
There-
cryptid, like, you know.
Yeah, that's true. There's just a couple of moves that he had that I'm like, oh, this feels like a Taylor type of character. Boomerang. Just there's certain
Yeah.
types, you know. So,
Mm-hmm.
but we'll
Yeah.
find out in 2025 when Taylor gets it.
Yeah, another multiplayer game. Helldivers 2 is coming out. I think this is one of the kind of big ones that PlayStation's trying to push. So I think it's an exclusive. And I think this is one of those
PC
like
as well.
4-player, okay, PC as well, 4-player co-op kind of season passy kind of games. It seems like that. From the trailers I've seen, it actually does look very solid. I just I don't think I have room for that in my gaming time right now. So not a pickup for me, but definitely worth a shout out because I feel like PlayStation doesn't have really much announced right now, and this is one of the ones that they've been pushing in the last few months. So
Yeah,
shouts to Helldivers.
I'm a Sony
And-
pony, but I'll skip it.
Yep. And then there is Mario versus Donkey Kong. This is the, I guess, Switch remake, remaster, if you want to call it that, of the Game Boy Advance game. I love that game so much. It's one of my favorites. It's hard to justify the $50-$60 they are asking for this version, especially when I think the original game still looks really good. I love that pixel art of that era, of course. But this is a really solid puzzle game, and I hope a lot of people pick this up because I feel like it's kind of always been under the radar as far as Mario games go. And we haven't seen a new Donkey Kong game in a while either, so you don't play as Donkey Kong in this, but still, he's in there, of course, as like kind of the Bowser equivalent. So, yeah, any of you guys interested in this? I don't think I've heard any of you guys play this original game back in the day.
I've definitely played it, but I don't have an itch to spend a huge amount for this, especially when there's probably a game in March that I'll be dipping my toes in the Nintendo realm. So I think this one will. There's a good chance I never ever play it in my life. It depends if there's a great sale, but just there's so many other Nintendo games. But no, it was fun enough. So I'll be excited to play it one day.
I honestly, I just kind of wish they put the original game on Game Boy Advance, like Nintendo Switch Online. I think that would have been fine. I
Yeah.
don't think this game needed to get this treatment necessarily, but still cool to see, I guess. I will move along to.
No other Mario Donkey Kong fans in the house.
I will move along because I got to find out, Taylor. What are the odds that Skull and Bones actually releases on February 16th of the year 2024?
How can I word this? The odds of me play. That doesn't make any sense.
No, that's somebody asked you, but that's okay.
I was trying to give him an example of
Making
the
his own
odds.
question.
I'll ask you, Dylan.
The odds of it
Quid pro
releasing on
quo.
this day, I'd probably go like 75% chance it's gonna.
Oh wow!
Release.
I think I'm at like a
That's pretty
clean
high.
90 now. I think I'm at a clean
90,
90. I think it's finally coming at this point in time.
Yeah, and I like if I only have the money to buy one game this month, I think it would be that. And I say that like optimistically because what I've seen.
But
this
do you
game
have
kinda
the
turn
money to buy a
around-
game that month? That's it's you phrase it in
I
a way where
would.
you can get yourself out of it.
If Madison allows him, he'll buy. Skull and Bones.
I'm really interested
present.
in this game and how things have kind of turned around from it. What they showed being like a 4v4 ships battle, pirate ships battle in a small contained area has turned into an open world free roam map that's bigger than Assassin's Creed Valhalla, which is saying something huge there. It's free roam. You can leave your ship, explore islands, do quests. You can just sail your ship around, take down pirate fleets, loot and plunder. It's expanded immensely from what they initially had in that first concept and what they showed. And I understand why it's been back to the drawing board so many times or delayed because they've just been adding so much more to
Back to
it. And I
formula.
feel like that's based off of a lot of feedback of what people want and don't want because to sell like a 4v4 pirate game, it's not. I mean, we ranted on it. It's not making money.
Whoever
No
pitched that
way.
should have been let go the next
Yeah.
day, but they made the
So-
game. So
So what it's turned into now has really piqued my interest, and I like every time I see like them doing like at an E3 a trailer or something like that with gameplay, I get really excited, and so I really do want to try this game out.
I'm putting it on the calendar, which means you have to pick it up and you have to review
Oh
it.
boy,
you have to have the money. That
Christmas
are you,
Day review.
Are you playing? Yeah, next year. If you buy it, Taylor, you're gonna be buying it physical.
Oh, you want to try it too? You got that?
Well,
you got that. Skull
I
and
am
Bones
surprised
itch.
to hear that actually.
Well, because I had no interest in that first game. I will only try this because I still think this is going to come out and be like a solid 55, 60 on Metacritic. So
There's a
if someone wants
good
to take it,
chance.
sure, yeah. But like, if it's good, I fucking love pirates. I always want to be a cowboy. I always want to be a pirate. You know, the cowboy's lower, but like more like pirates up there. I want to be sailing the seven seas and like
You can be. No one's stopping you.
yeah, but
Part of
no.
the ship, part of the
you-
crew.
Hang on, you didn't let me go. I said I've been waiting for like a great pirate game, and like I never got on Assassin's Creed Black Flag. I missed that, and I've always been like I got to go back to that. But I was like, oh, this could be good. Maybe this is a shot. Like, and I feel even Skull. What was the one we played?
Sea of Thieves.
See, things like I enjoyed it. It scratched the itch, but it wasn't like there was still some stuff missing there. But I would just love to get fully immersed in a pirate game, you know. So, but I don't think I'll play it because I don't think it's gonna be good. So.
It
Kirkland,
lists
you gonna be
the-
joining Taylor there?
I'm gonna wait and see what happens. I think if this one reviews really well and just it is really positive, and I don't know, like I would definitely be interested. I had a lot of fun with the limited time that I actually played in Sea of Thieves. So like to actually get Skull and Bones, I don't know, just expanding upon the idea of like an open world pirate game that is just I don't know, like if it meets everything that it's kind of promising, I'm definitely interested. So I'm not gonna write it off by any means, but definitely don't sign me up on that calendar day one.
I wouldn't.
Who knows though? Maybe it's just like 10 out of
Taylor's-
10 reviews. and
Taylor's still
I'm
unsure
there.
about the sign up too. He's looking at this calendar. It's called
Look at the fine print.
They list the Stadia in there. Game Informer is gonna have to update that because I don't think
Yeah,
Stadia's a
that's-
thing anymore.
You can't do that.
That's what I
anymore.
got it pre-ordered on.
No refund. Sorry, we're
Oh
closed.
my God. Yeah,
Yeah.
that'll be interesting to see if it finally comes out and if it sticks around or if it just sinks
If it
immediately.
gets delayed again, man,
That
what
would be insane.
yeah. What,
How
what
many
a
delays is
joke.
it now?
It's got to be
God.
4 or 5.
I think 4 to 5 sounds.
I would say
about
at
right.
least 4, which is a crazy
Yes.
thing to say.
Okay, you're 4. What are you, Travis? What did you say?
I'll say 5 just to be different.
You, Kirkland?
I guess I'll take the 6 number.
It's been delayed 6 times.
Oh my God!
Winner by default.
Kirkland wins again. Wow.
Got my trophy.
Jeez Louise.
Uh,
Well,
well, moving
one of them taking that trophy this year. Fuck.
moving from sailing the seven seas to driving on the open highway. There's 2 driving games coming out on February 22nd, which is interesting. One is called Open Roads. This is like a narrative walking sim sort of game, road trip sort of situation. This is coming to Game Pass. It looks really interesting. I really like the art style, and I like walking sim type games like Gone Home or What Remains of Edith Finch and whatnot. So interested in that one. I'll definitely be checking it out. And then the same day is Pacific Drive, which is like a PlayStation driving roguelike, which I've never seen that done before, and I love it. And every trailer I've seen, I cannot wait for this game. This is one of my top hype games, and I'm pretty sure it's coming to PS4. It better, because I really want to play it. This will be
PC as well.
okay. Yeah, I don't know. I wonder what the specs on it
Yeah.
would be. But yeah, I haven't dusted off my PS4 in a while, so this would be. That's how excited I am for this game that I'll actually be doing that. So I'm pretty hyped for this week. These two games, I'm very much looking forward to both of them.
Specific Drive, does that come from anybody particular that you
No,
like?
that's the thing.
No?
It's a bit of
Okay.
an unknown variable. I don't think there. It might be the studio's first game.
I just feel like I
yeah.
remember us talking about this at some conference or some showing have like a mini thing
It's
because
come
like
up a couple times.
yeah, pulling up that thumbnail, right away I'm like, oh, I remember this art and really liking it. So it's one that I don't know if I'd be getting day one, but this is one that if you get and speak highly of, it'll be on the okay. I got to watch out for when it's PlayStation Plus or something like that. But yeah, quick aside, what was that game when we were younger called when it was on the PC and you were in a car and you were driving across Canada and stuff?
Oh my
and-
gosh, yes. What was? It's like a truck driving one, right?
Yeah, I've
Across
never,
Canada or something.
Yeah. Did you guys all had it on your PCs back?
Oh,
in
It was
the
like a
day?
schoolyard kind of game. Is that what you're
Oh
talking
yeah,
It was no, it was
Huh.
at school, yeah. But
about? I don't think I played that one actually.
we would rock that. We would
Yeah.
rock the shit out of that. Oh yeah.
Pacific Drive, maybe.
Cross
Just opened
country
up a whole
Canada,
chapter.
too.
Yeah,
Cross
yeah,
Country
that's exactly
2,
it.
Specifically too. Okay.
Man, you brought
gotta
back
be the second
memories.
one.
That's
I might be
crazy.
playing that week.
We should do a
Yeah.
retro of that.
I don't know why that was like installed on the school computers. Like I don't know what you're learning from that. Maybe geography of the I don't know. But
I kind of do recognize this game. I feel like in the States they always had like the Oregon Trail game was like a thing you'd play in school, and so I feel like maybe Canada just wanted their equivalent, so they
there you go.
Yeah.
churned this game out.
Back to Pacific Drive. You can sign me up for this one. I'm getting this one day one.
Oh,
I am,
hell
I'm
yeah,
So
let's
hyped for
do
this. Yeah,
Nice.
I remember when we talked about it at whatever conference it was. It's so unique of an idea, and everything that I've seen so far about it just looks really good too. So it might disappoint, but I think it's just interesting enough that I definitely want to get my hands on it and play it
Nice.
firsthand, because it's not even just like a driving sim. Like there's so many crazy survival aspects to it. Like the world is trying to get you even though you're just driving a vehicle. So I'm so interested on this one. This is definitely on my hyped list for sure.
Amazing. I'm very excited to do that review with you. That'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
That same day, on the 22nd, is Sons of the Forest, so the sequel to The Forest, which is a big survival horror game from back in the day. I think this might just be one of those PC-only kind of games, or at least at launch. It could even be early access for all I know. But yeah, that first game was one that was kind of critically acclaimed, or at least I feel like it really kicked off that genre, which is huge now for those kind of Steam survival horror, first-person sort of games. So I don't know, Taylor Kirkland, I feel like this is kind of up your alley a little bit.
I had a lot of fun playing The Forest. I had a handful of buddies that we'd play that with, and in like the early access days of it too, where it was super buggy and just like experiencing all that, but just still had a lot of fun with it. And this one I think is just like a full release, because I think it has been out on early access. I've seen a
Okay,
couple people on
nice.
my Discord playing it, but I haven't really looked into it at all. I just assumed it was like, I don't know how much of a sequel I guess it is to The Forest. Maybe just like new things. I don't really know how the story exactly went with The Forest, because like I said, I played it pretty early on. But I don't think I'll really be getting this, but I could see possibly in the future sometime, just because I had a lot of fun with that first Forest game. And I know for that first title, it did come to consoles eventually, so I'm curious
Right.
if this one does the same thing, because it's a fun game to play with friends for sure. Just the survival aspect. You got these creepy cannibals running around the island trying
Dragging
to
you
get
into caves and stuff.
yeah. Oh yeah. No, it's crazy.
Yeah.
I definitely want to try it, but I want to try it with other people. I don't know if I would dive into this by myself. I never played that first one, that beta one you're talking about, Kirkland. Although again, it's something I've heard great things about.
Then there's Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons is getting a remake on the 28th. So we talked about this recently because this was announced at the Game Awards. But of course, that It Takes Two won Game of the Year at the Game Awards, so the studio has kind of climbed up that ladder, that echelon, if you will. And this is a remake of their kind of 360 era game that I really enjoyed, but it's not one that I feel like I need to revisit, at least for the full asking price. Maybe if it hits Game Pass in the future. But yeah, really interesting game, really interesting game mechanics of like each control stick controls the different characters, so you're kind of playing as two. It's a co-op game that you're playing as by yourself. Whereas and then I feel like with It Takes Two, they took that idea and actually made it a multiplayer co-op game, just like A Way Out, I guess, did that first for them. So I like what the studio's doing and the focus on co-op, and this is a kind of proto actual co-op one for them. So an interesting game to go back to. I think people will really enjoy it when it gets a remake. I doubt any of you are going to pick it up at launch, but maybe down the road. So that's cool. And then I think maybe the hugest launch of the year is probably this one, which is Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. So this is, I guess we're at part 2 of this, even though they've had like a bunch of DLC for the first one. So it's very confusing the way they roll this whole thing out. Man, every trailer I see for this thing, it looks great. I really want to check it out. This one is PS5 exclusive though, so I can't really access it. Shoutouts to, we have our survey going on right now where you can give us feedback on the shows and stuff, and someone did mention that they want to see some coverage for this game. So
Of course.
if none of the 4 of us are interested, I'll find someone. Maybe Dante will be picking it up or something to bring someone in to talk about it. But yeah, I really want to check it out, but once again, don't have the access to it right now, so it'll be sitting on the shelf for me right now.
Yeah, and is this part 2? Is this supposed to be like it, right? Like part 2, they're not doing a part 3. This is going to cover the rest of the game.
No, I think there's more after this.
Yeah, bullshit.
I'm guessing it's a trilogy.
Okay, because
But
that's
I
what
don't think
was.
in the way that we have for the first one, it was like it goes till the end of the Midgard sequence. I don't think we really know where Rebirth is going to at the moment. So maybe it is, but from what I've heard, like that first game was such a small percentage of what Final Fantasy VII actually is. So it would make sense if they really blow it up into maybe a trilogy here.
Yeah, that's what I'm waiting for. I've always said that since day one. I didn't love the split thing. I was a fan of Final Fantasy VII back in the day, like most people that had a PlayStation and stuff, but it's been so long. And I don't know why. I think it's just because that was the popular game. I played that and dabbled in the other ones, but I haven't felt the need to get into other ones. But I've always been like, I'm going to play this one day, but I'm going to wait till it's done, and just kind of binge it all and stuff, so.
Yeah, I'm guessing that's a no-go for Kirkland or Taylor as
That's
well.
a no-go for me.
No, sir.
Yeah. Do you guys think that's like the front runner for Game of the Year winner this year so far? Looking at the calendar. In the way at the start of the year, we could be like, yeah, Tears of the Kingdom is probably going to be Game of the Year, and then it ended up being Baldur's Gate. But
I think so. I think this could also be a year if it's lighter that an indie could really run away with it and take
I could
that.
see that.
I just when it's a lighter field. But I agree with you as what I've seen coming out so far. Yeah, F7 Rebirth would probably be it. So
It's in the conversation for sure.
in the conversation, wow.
I guarantee you'll be one of the noms for the Game Awards
Yeah.
at the very least. Easy prediction there. Anything else in February that I skipped
Dark
over?
Forces, man. Star Wars Dark Forces. I cannot
Okay.
fucking wait.
Tell me
that.
about what this is.
It's a first-person shooter that I spent many hours on the PlayStation 1 playing as a child. Who knows if it's gonna be good? Who knows if it's gonna be worth it?
Is this a remake or like a
Remaster. But this is much like Mario RPG, where it's not a remake, but I just remember lots of time as a child, so I will be picking this up. Granted, as long as it's like $50 or plus. Like I feel like this is a solid. Even 40, I'm kind of fine with, but that's like the cap for me. And even then, I might wait. But if it's around 40 under, I think this is day one. I bet I could beat it really quick. And yeah, I loved that game so much. And it's just like, I don't know. It's just you're some sort of bounty hunter that gets caught up, but it's pretty much just shooting. What I liked about it was there's lots of. It's not really a scary game, but there's just lots of things like you'd be put into this dark area and then you're running around and then it's like a Rancor pops up and you gotta shoot that. Like I just remember having a different. It was like a grungy Star Wars. That's what I liked about it. So I will be. I'll begin Dark Forces. I loved that game back in the day.
Nice. Love to hear that. Taylor, was that one you were a fan of back in the day?
I never played it back in the day, so I mean, Travis is
swap.
playing. He'll take my Skull and Bones.
Yeah.
I'll take his Dark Forces.
A beautiful trade.
Yeah.
I love that. Okay, moving into March then. Who's picking up Outlast Trials? That's on the 5th. Got a bunch of Outlast heads in the chat
big
here.
fan,
As-
Taylor. Yeah.
As long, again,
I wasn't going to go there.
again,
but it came
I'm
up anyway.
as big a fan, if not bigger. Just gonna throw that out there than these two.
Whoever
Just
buys
pick
it
up a-
first is the biggest fan. That will be the decider here.
I will be buying this as long as that Metacritic score is not red. If it is red, that might get me to do the halt.
Even yellow, you're in.
if it's like right above, like if it's like a 6, like if it's that.
See, a true fan would buy it if it was yellow.
Yeah, but like waste of time and money, you know. I don't know, but I would hope that these boys are getting it because I would love. We've talked about this for years. I don't think it's gonna be that much. Like I would be down do a stream of it. Like I loved that first one, avoid the second one. So but again, the second one apparently was not good. So that's why I'm not like, oh, this is a for sure purchase because this could come out and people are like, oh yeah, this is really disappointing. It's not there. So, but I think this could be a day one. It's looking likely. So
Well, for the second one, I think it was not bad. It just wasn't as good as the first one was. It was still a little spooky. It had some like boat mechanics that were really annoying to deal with. Weren't super fun to deal with. But this one, I don't even believe it's a full price game because this is another one that actually is already out on early access on Steam.
Yeah, $30 on Steam right now.
There you go. Yeah. So I am interested if we get the boys in there for sure because this is definitely going back to like that first Asylum that the first game was, and that setting is just so terrifying. And that
1
game
to 4,
It's got crossplay as well. So
look at that.
hell yeah.
Already.
So
I will absolutely
definitely
pick it up. That'd be
definitely
so fun.
eyeballing that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a big horror head now. I'm into horror games a big time. So this is a good time for me to jump into Outlast, I think. And Taylor, is this like a guaranteed pickup for you at this point? Would you say?
I mean, if it wasn't before, it absolutely is now because everyone else is going to be getting it, and just the fact that it's multiplayer and we can play together, I feel like there's going to be so many outrageous moments.
Mhm.
It's too good to be true.
Yeah.
Nice.
Is it still in first person too? The game?
I believe
I would
so.
imagine
Yeah.
so.
That's good. That adds to it. I just like that's gonna be fun because I'm curious to see what you do to like together, that experience together. But four players in the asylum. Yeah.
I think it's still on our Twitch, maybe just on our YouTube, but definitely on our Twitch. But if you haven't seen it, you should go to it, our GeekVerse one, and check out when Kirkland thought he was calling out, like being scared, and he goes down this hallway, and then he gets
That was a good
jump
day.
scared.
I powered through that whole first game in one sitting. It was a good time, and yeah, I got major jump scared. And I'm curious what type of like that word come up again of what type of mechanics are in this one too, because a big emphasis on like the camcorder on the first two games with the night vision and a lot of peeking mechanics, you know, in use there. So
and how does that work with 4 people? You know.
Yeah, no, for sure.
I'm curious.
Nice. Well, that sounds like a big hype release for the 4 of us. That'll be fun. Moving along here on March 22nd is Dragon's Dogma 2. Do you guys know much about Dragon's Dogma?
Heard the name.
Yeah, I've heard the
Heard
name.
the tales.
So this is a Capcom kind of dark fantasy action adventure game, and it's always one that's been on my radar, and because of that, I picked it up on sale for like, I think the Black Friday sales on the Switch. I got it for like $3 or something, the first one. And I've been playing it the last few days here. A really weird and interesting game that I'll talk about in depth on a future side quest, but I'm going to be playing through that for the next, month or two here. And depending on how the rest of that experience goes, man, when I see trailers for this, just to have like a next gen or, at this point, current gen version of what that game is, because that's like a very 360 era sort of game. It looks really great, and I really want to check it out. I just love fantasy games like this. So I think this one's there's definitely a good chance I pick it up because other than Outlast, which is like, 3 weeks prior, there isn't really much in March or April as of right now for me personally. So this might be a good pickup in that period for me. So yeah, definitely on my list. And I don't know, when I've played more, if I think any of you would particularly like it, I'll pitch it to at that point. But I don't think I'm deep enough yet to sell you on any of it yet. But a really interesting game nonetheless. Cool to get a sequel after all these years. And then on that same day is Princess Peach Showtime, which is a game that I was originally pretty hot on, thought I was going to pick up, and the more I've seen it, just seems a bit too simple for me. And also, Muds isn't interested in it. So how about you guys? Anyone here picking it up? I think Travis and Kirkland, if I had to guess, might be picking it up.
Yeah, I'm there. I think I
there.
was enough on the hype level to want it, and then Shay was like, "Yeah, we're getting it." So okay, there you go. Decision made.
Nice.
Mine was the same, but with kids. So yeah,
Okay.
like,
Yeah.
we'll begin that.
That seems perfect for the kids for sure.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what it's like because I think at first it'll start with me and Emily playing, and then maybe transition into them. But I will be curious to see with their ages if it's because Wonder works, but how simple is it? That's what I'm wondering. And how annoying could it be? But even then, it could be fun for them just for one of us to play and them to watch and stuff. The
Right.
costumes.
Yeah, it is
cool
single
and-
player, right? So I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I'm glad Peach is getting her due. Finally something out there for us.
It's been a while since a full Peach
Sure,
game.
since the DS, right? Yeah.
Shay was a big fan of that DS version. That's why I think she was really nostalgic for this one.
Nice. Taylor, is this a pickup for you?
Oh, probably
Daughter's
not
not asking for it yet.
No. She'll when she gets a little bit older and
Showtime.
she's into the games. Call of Duty or Princess Peach.
Right.
So.
Call of Duty is much more engaging for the kids. And then we have South Park Snow Day on the 26th. I don't know. Have you guys played any of the South Park games of the past?
Not a
It's
fan.
been like a ever fleeting thing for me, where a lot of people
Yeah.
have told me about them, and I feel like I'll really like it because just I like that South Park humor, and apparently they're actually really fun to play. But and then this one's like 3D with co-op, so I don't know. It's on
It doesn't
the watch
seem as
list.
RPG focused like those other games were, which I think is a
No,
big
yeah.
reason why people like those games. So it might be a very different reception than those ones.
For sure. I'm gonna keep a keen eye on it, and
Keep keen.
I don't know. Depending on in my circles who acquires this, perhaps I'll be picking it up. But I don't know.
Taylor, I feel like you might be a bit of a South Park guy, right?
I mean, I've always wanted to play them. The only one I ever played, I think, maybe was like a Stick of Truth mobile version.
Mobile
specific,
version.
okay.
I know when that superhero one came out following Stick of Truth, I really wanted to get around to doing it. I never got around. I feel like it was one of those titles that didn't
Fractured
go on sale
Butthole,
that
right?
yeah, Fractured Butthole. They didn't go on sale that often. I felt like they held their full retail price
Held the line.
Classic
prominently.
Nintendo move. Respect.
Yeah, but it's definitely
Big
something
Nintendo release.
I'll play with before I die. When I'm retired,
Okay.
I'll get around to playing these games.
The 55 age.
If you're ever
Yeah.
in the mood for just like a snowy winter game, that might be when you pick it up. Could be
That's
one of
true
those.
because I mean it's snow day, right? It just fits.
It's all there. It's all in the title. Any other March ones I skipped over?
When I first glanced over at the list, I'm like, man, we're getting 2 Outlast
Me
games that
too.
month. That's insane.
Yeah.
That's bold. They took
Yeah.
that long for trials. Outlast 3 is already out. I'm like, Outlast: A New Beginning. Shit.
Yeah, there's this game called Outcast: A New Beginning, which I have not heard of. It looks kind of alien and cool. It looks a bit Avatar-esque, if I might be so
Ooh.
bold.
It does, eh?
But
with the
none
big
of us
tree in
bought
the
Avatar,
distance.
so I don't think we'll be picking this one up.
Alone in the Dark what is that? Because that
I think it's a
is-
remake or a remaster.
That looks like Jodie Comer and David Harbour.
Yeah.
Really? Okay, that's interesting. I wonder what's going on there.
It
Remember seeing,
definitely.
like a cinematic for it or
That's
something.
them,
a while
right?
back.
That's them for sure.
Someone Google this and look into this. 'Cause
I will.
I've heard about this. I thought it was just maybe like a remaster remake of one of those earlier games, but if this is a new thing, it could be interesting. It's got that big cast in there.
It's an upcoming survival horror game. The game is a reimagining of the 1992 game. This is
So we'll
the
call it a
7th
remake.
installment. The story follows Emily Hartwood.
Well, I guess the
Jodie
92
Comer,
game, that was like a Game Boy game, so this is probably going to
Yeah.
be completely different than that.
and private investigator Edward Carnaby, David Harbour, as they travel to a manor, a home of a mentally fatigued, Decreto Manor, the home of mentally fatigued, to investigate the disappearance of Jeremy Hartwood, Emily's uncle. It's an over-the-shoulder, third-person perspective, doing away from fixed camera angles of the original. This is similar to Resident Evil series. Oh, okay.
Well, I'm loving Resident Evil. Okay, this is going on my list now. I'm going to keep an eye on it, do some research, look up some trailers. I remember playing the Wii game, which is a really weird, just like blockbuster rental, and I was like, what the
Yeah.
hell is going on here? And it was a very janky, weird game, but I think that game is critically not a very good one, whereas maybe that original one was pretty interesting. So to get kind of a full remake of it with current gen hardware is kind of an interesting thing. Remake a Game Boy game as like a big kind of PS5 game.
Yeah, some good talent there. So yeah, I'll be interested to hear your thoughts before I investigate more.
I'm not right. I'm not signing a contract here. I'm just
no,
saying,
I know. I'm
gonna
just
check
saying if
out.
it does happen. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Let's let's take our first break, and then we'll be right back to get into the next section. Okay, we are back. We're getting to the point where we're getting out of games that really have a lot of release dates. I didn't have anything from April. Anything on that list looking intriguing to you guys from April?
No, I pulled the Kirkland where I thought the first game was Euphoria. I was like, "Fuck, who's making the Euphoria game? That's gonna be great."
No.
Who was that? Telltale. That they should have made a Euphoria game. They would have been
Yeah,
perfect.
I could see it.
All the decisions, but no, this looks primed for a catch-up month or just lots of drops happening.
Yeah. The one thing that's not on this list that I just learned about recently is that apparently there's a very substantial mod for Fallout 4 coming out in April. And it's just called Fallout London, and it's just a huge, like, it's bigger than the map of Fallout 4. It's got like hundreds of quests, full voice acting, like it's just essentially seems like a new Fallout game. Of course, it's a mod, so you never really know what you're gonna get. But if it's actually good, even if it's as good as, even if it's half as good as Fallout 4, that's really, really interesting. So I'm gonna definitely check that out when it releases. So I've always wanted Fallout to go outside of America, so I think London will be a really cool setting. So I'm looking forward to that one. I'll report back on if that's any good in April.
I'm jealous. I'm really jealous.
Yeah, I guess for Mr. PlayStation over there,
My
out
mad.
of luck.
Well, no, I guess like I got an Xbox too, and I got them all. I just don't have to play a PC, right?
You don't have a
That's what I
PC,
need.
yeah.
So all the
What about
consoles in the world wants to fix me.
the official company laptop?
GV laptop. Download some
No, I don't. I'm not going to
Fallout
use that
mods
for,
on there.
I'm going to play Dylan's game on that, but I'm not going to use it for any other gaming and stuff like that. So, yeah.
Yeah. Moving on, June. This is really just a quick shout out here, but the final DLC for Destiny 2 is coming out. I assume it's the final one because it's called The Final Shape, but I don't know that for sure. So there you go. The end of that, which I think is time. You know, that game's been crushing it for a while, but
Is there going to be a
Eventually-
third for that?
I don't think right now. I think we know that Bungie is making a Marathon remake, remaster, whatever that is, which I'm really interested in because that's like their original series before they even did Halo that I've always wanted to go back to. And then after that, we don't really know. So it could be another Destiny, but I kind of hope they do something new and different for their next title if I had to put my hopes and dreams out there.
Okay.
It's interesting, like, from their perspective, because there is, like, a big audience for those Destiny games. And, like, obviously they're just pumping out DLCs for it. So I'm curious of if they're trying to, like, keep, I don't know, those fans happy with a new Destiny game or something similar to it, or if they do just want to go into more single player type direction like what Halo kind of was, which kind of what I was hoping Destiny was initially, like when it did come out. That's just not exactly the type of game for me. But I am very interested in just seeing the next Bungie release.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird situation where you might want them to go in that, like maybe even as a studio they would want to go that single player route after all this, but like they got acquired by PlayStation, and PlayStation probably acquired them as part of that big like push for multiplayer games and online live service games because they were kind of a master of that. But then they've also just canceled a bunch of those games recently. So it's like, are they pivoting? And with Jim Ryan stepping down, like maybe PlayStation will look a lot different in the next couple of years. So honestly, the future of Bungie is really up in the air. And I think they've even maybe had some layoffs and a lot of big creative people leave the studio. So I think it's going to be a weird time of change, but hopefully they come out of it stronger and making something kind of new and interesting. At the very least, I am excited for Marathon. That's always, like I said, always a series I wanted to go back and check out.
This comes from someone that's not like a Bungie fan, not a Halo fan in the back of the day, but I would just like us to do one of these Summer Games Fest, Game Awards, whatever they may be, and we get a Bungie logo, and we just know that it's not going to be Destiny right after. Because I feel like anytime I get Bungie, it's like an automatic checkout for me. And I feel like it's been that way for a lot of people for many years. Like Kurgan said, there's tons of people that love it, so I'm not saying for everybody, but I think there's a big group of people. And I feel like Bungie needs to like Destiny has its audience, and I feel like it's pretty much capped. Like, you know who's going to get it, who's going to be there. I feel like they need something that's going to be either a bit more broad or just something completely new to get hitting on other people. Like, I just feel like when we talk about big developers, Bungie's just never in that conversation anymore because it's just like, well, they've been doing Destiny since the PS4. You know,
Yeah.
like I don't know. I just feel like they need something. Like these are the guys that did it. Like I know it's a bunch of different people, but still just the brand. It's like that's what did Halo, and that was such a huge thing in the early 2000s, right? That name Bungie. Now I just feel like it has lost all that kind of chutzpah. So I
Yeah.
as a fan of just like developers and games and just the hype levels, I want to see a Bungie logo, and then right after like something really cool happen. We're like, okay, whatever it is, they're on the map.
Euphoria,
again,
the
so.
game.
Exactly. Yeah, you're playing as Nate Jacobs.
That would be insane if Bungie made you for a game.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I do think we will see them kind of elevated back in the spotlight more, just being under the Sony brand and being, a big part of the state of plays and the showcases from this point forward when we see stuff in the way that, I don't know, we're just so used to that big Naughty Dog logo or Sony Santa Monica when we're watching those showcases. So I think we will get to that point with them again. But yeah, it might take some time of kind of restructuring, rebuilding, and finding what the future of them could be. Or they could just do Destiny 3. I don't know. Like, why wouldn't you just continue Destiny 2 with?
Yeah.
But I don't play that game, so I don't know what would be the pros or cons of. I mean, starting from scratch, the pro would be someone like me could jump in finally. Whereas right now, I just feel so overwhelmed. If there's no way I'd actually jump into that game all these years later.
Yeah.
Skipping along all the way into August, this is kind of the last big release of the year that has a release date of any sort, and that's Black Myth Wukong, which is one of those games that just any trailer you see, your mind is blown because the game looks insane. The bosses, the graphical fidelity. Travis, I know you've reacted in that way to a trailer at some point. You probably just forget what it is off the top of your head, but look it up. You will remember this game, and you'll be like, oh my God, I forgot this game. It looks insane. Just it's one of those games that doesn't look real, and that's where I'm holding back some of my hype because I just...
Oh, the monkey one. Yeah.
Yeah, something could be off about it. Like, is it actually that good? It doesn't look like it could be made by humans. It just looks insane. So... a game that I think definitely keeping my eye on, but until it actually comes out, it's hard for me to get too hyped on it because something about it doesn't quite smell right yet.
Whoa. Yeah.
You watching trailer there? And
yeah, I saw the
in
monkey and
real time?
that reminded me. But yeah, I think there's like another trailer something I had not even seen, the official release date trailer. So
okay.
yeah, no, that's it's impressive. I remember it being like Monkey Elden Ring, but
Yes.
yeah, I'll wait to hear back from you.
That's August 20th on that one, so stay tuned. From that point on, we're really getting into just things that have a release window and don't actually have a date. So we were just talking about PlayStation. Let's keep going on that train of thought. So here's what we know. We really know about like The Last of Us remaster.
Yes.
We know about that Helldivers thing that's coming out. I think maybe Stellar Blade is supposed to come out this year, which is, I don't even think that's a first party thing. I think that's just has that exclusivity. And that's pretty much it. I think maybe the Metal Gear Solid, what was it? It's 3 that's getting the remake, right?
Snake Eater. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's also at least a console exclusive. So like that's kind of all we really know for the moment. And then, so Travis, we talked about this we kind of did a bonus episode over the holidays there when all that Insomniac leak happened.
Yeah.
And we got kind of an idea that there might be Spider-Man multiplayer coming out this year, Spider-Man 2 multiplayer thing. But then I think Insomniac deconfirmed that. Maybe they were just saying that, but it seems like that maybe was actually canceled and isn't actually happening. Did you say anything about that, or do you have any thoughts?
No,
if you think that's still happening?
I think it's like as Bubs said, where there was 2 online games. There's the GTA one, and then there was the Spider-Man online, like Spider-Man 2 online, and I think that's just in flux. I don't think people know the status of that. The GTA Spider-Man one that got canceled.
Sorry, what do you mean by GTA Spider-Man?
Remember there was that one where
Like
it's
just
like
co-op sort of thing?
it was like a GTA Online one, like that, where you could go, you make your own Spider-Man.
Oh yeah, that one, yeah.
Yeah, so there was that, and then there was
Okay.
the Spider-Man multiplayer. The GTA one, that's gone. I think the multiplayer one is
Right.
in flux and stuff. I could be wrong that it's been canceled because I haven't been following it
Yeah.
too much since then. But if it's ready to go, that could be something. That could be fun. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
At the very least, too, like, since you guys played Spider-Man 2, like, Spider-Man 1 was very obviously just trailing out DLC that did come out within, like, months of the game releasing. Does it feel like that with Spider-Man 2? Is there any, like, obvious DLCs that you think were going to probably come out in the next... Because I think even with Spider-Man 1, I'm pretty sure that stuff was announced, like, even pre-launch. Like, hey,
I thought
a couple
so,
months
yeah.
after release, you're going to get these things. But we haven't got that for 2 yet. But what do you guys think since you've played it?
Nothing really like as telling, I think, as the first title. Like
Nothing
it's
as
not like
cliffhangery?
yeah, like you don't get like introduced to a character, and it's like, oh, see you later, and then
Well, there
never
is
see them
one.
again for the title.
There is one.
Or like Black Cat, the way she was
For-
used in Spider-Man 1, where it's like, oh, obviously they're going to do more with this.
Did you ever play the Flame side? You played the Flame side.
Oh,
Quest.
okay, yes,
Yeah, that character, right?
And
That's in
actually,
there.
now that I think about it too, there actually is some directions maybe they could go with DLCs. Like, did you finish all the spider bots thing?
No, I did not. But I think I
Okay.
heard about a certain
There's something- yeah.
identity person or something.
I like talking in riddles to avoid spoilers,
Yeah,
but so like there's something like that if they did a DLC in that realm, that would be extremely hype. But so yeah, and then I guess you reminded me about the Flame character. So
It's tough because like the Flame storyline, because there's a rumor of them doing like the Venom game like Miles, right? So I feel like
Right.
that stuff would all be for the Venom one. So it's like, okay, that wouldn't be just
Yeah.
like the Black Cat DLC, but I'd kind of find it odd because they still did the DLC and the Miles game. I'd be very surprised because we won't be getting a Spider-Man game till at least 2027 if that roadmap's correct, right? Because Wolverine's not supposed to be till 2026. So it's like the fact that, and I guess Miles did get his game, but I just feel like I'm gonna be surprised if there's just no straight DLC for it like they did last time. Maybe it's not the exact same, but just a couple missions, couple characters. Even if it's not like Black Cat, you can pull up anybody and do some sort of mission with them, right? Some sort of mini story. So I would be surprised if there's nothing, but maybe they are just saving it all for that Venom release. And again, that's next year now, so that's not even this year. So
Right. Yeah, I mean, and also in between Spider-Man 1 and 2, of course, they did get acquired by Sony. So that could also just change the release pattern of things. And
True.
I mean, even if I think about recently with PlayStation, like I feel like they aren't really doing a lot of DLCs for their games. If they are, it's like a free update
yeah.
that maybe adds like New Game Plus or like a new game mode, or it's just like one of those half-step games, or it's like a remake like with Last of Us where you're getting a new mode or something. So that just might be a Sony decision too of like, just make Spider-Man 2 its own standalone thing and then do like more spin-off games or this multiplayer if that if that truly does exist at this point. And then other like that's all we know for PlayStation at the moment, but there's other like Sucker Punch with Ghost of Tsushima that came out in 2020. Sony Ben's last game Days Gone was 2019 at this point. Blue Point, the Dark Souls remake, was 2020, I believe, because that was with the launch of the PlayStation. So those are the three big ones for me of like, it could be time for one of those studios. What do you guys think on those three?
I think Ghost of Tsushima has a shot. I really do have like coming out in the fall.
Sequel, yeah.
Yeah, just because like Blue Point, it hasn't been said what they're working on.
We
I
don't know
think
what they're
it's-
working on,
right.
so it could be a new game. It could be another remake. We really have no idea.
So I'm just gonna take the naive route and say that both Blue Point and we definitely know Sony's Ben's not working on Days Gone too. I would imagine. So that's where
Yeah, I don't think
feel-
it's been like officially confirmed, but all signs point to no. So
Yeah,
we,
so-
once again, another studio, we have no idea what they're doing right now.
Yeah, so that's where I'd assume those two are probably working on new games. Where you got Ghost of Tsushima, where of course I imagine they'll go a different area, different map, but I'm sure there's some stuff, lots of assets they can hold over. You said 2020. That's 4 years now. Like it's gonna get to that point where I felt like.
And I
we-
think even sorry to cut you off, the
Yeah.
DLC Legends came out in that same year, right? Like it not like they waited a year or two before they
Yes.
released that. Like that came out pretty quick afterwards.
That's where I was going. Where it's like, oh, if they were working on that, you'd say, oh, that's where their development went, but it was kind of mostly done when we got it, right? So
Yeah.
I feel like that could be a really good. I don't know, but that doesn't feel like Sony to do that though. Sony's not a company that usually announces a game in the summer that's out in the fall. So I just feel like we would have even gotten a teaser this year for Ghosts because when's the last time they've done that? Like usually their games are far out. Maybe they feel it's different because Ghost of Tsushima is already in the bag, like as a success, and they can just pump that out there. With Spider-Man, they want to build up the hype, get the best selling. But I just feel like we're for sure seeing something this year. But if we're gonna get something, I imagine it'd be pretty quick, like a preview or something here soon. So maybe we're not. Maybe I'll walk that back.
They might just want to honestly wait until Final Fantasy's out, and then after that's out, and then
Right.
that's done eating up all or sucking up all the oxygen in the room, then they can start announcing their next slate of like big first party things. Of course, Final Fantasy is not first party, but it's console exclusive at least. So
Give us a banger state of play after Final Fantasy. You know.
That'd
Yeah.
be hype.
Yeah.
I feel like the fact that we haven't heard too much about it, that would make it even much more exciting. Whether it's any of those three that you already listed.
right. What do you think, Kirkland? Any expectations you have for big Sony releases this year?
I think my only expectation is something. I don't really know what it would be. Nice easy answer there, but
Yeah.
like Ghost would be really hype. Really like, yeah, I really not too sure. Like the Blue Point title.
Do you think
really
we're
really
Spider-Man
love.
DLC? You didn't say yes or no.
Like I would expect it. That's the weird
Mhm.
thing is like, but like I also would have expected it to been already spoken about by now because as you guys were already mentioning, like the DLC for Spider-Man, I feel like that was very quick after that, or
Mhm.
I don't know, a couple months after that first game. So
It was, yeah.
would have expected at least something about it now. So I guess I would expect that at some point in here. Not too sure like what it would be, whether it is that like 1.5 game, kind of like what Miles was, or just a straight up DLC. Because I don't know, the fact that they haven't mentioned something, maybe they are waiting for a bigger something bigger than just a DLC. But yeah, definitely something Spider-Man related, I would expect. And yeah, for Ghosts, like I don't know, because we also have that Rise of Ronin game coming out, which is a
Right.
very similar type of title. Maybe
Which I
they
think
want to
that's-
kind of distance from
I
it.
think that's a March one, which we
Well,
didn't mention, but I
They'll
think
do the
that's March.
opposite. They'll drop the trailer like the week before. Like, oh, Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah, that one's March 22nd. Just to
Okay,
put that
there you
info
go.
out there. Yeah.
So yeah, maybe not Ghosts. Maybe I wouldn't put my chips on that just because we are getting that Res Ronin. But like also when Ghost came out, like I feel like Sekiro was around that time too. Like I don't think studios necessarily care
True.
if there is
Yeah.
only one samurai game on the block.
Trek
but
to Yomi. Yeah, there's like a lot of them. Right
Yeah.
now. Yeah.
yeah, no, exactly. But I think for my want, it would be Spider-Man for sure, and then I think something Blue Point. 'Cause just I don't know. It's been a while since because Demon Soul, although it is like a ground up remake, like it is a beautiful game. I don't know. I like their titles even though I haven't played all of them. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The other, thing to note here is last year they released PlayStation VR 2.
Fuck.
Do you guys expect any big PSVR game this year? Like if not, what the hell was the point of making that? They had Horizon, but I don't know. Has their plan just been like, okay, no one in house is going to make any of these games, and we're going to rely on, third party games to get people to buy this thing?
I think so because it's
I
too
just don't know
risky
what
to
the
make.
plan is
It's too
for it.
risky to put too much funds and make people make that game. I think you'll get something like that where maybe there's something Final Fantasy VII related, but it's not the exact same.
Yeah,
And that's
right.
like not. It's a bad example because I don't think it'd be that, but there'll be some sort of like that Iron Man flight game, like something come out, but nothing that I think is gonna sell any of those consoles. That's a dead system.
Mm-hmm.
dead on arrival.
It
Dead
was, like, and I
system.
think didn't it sell like 55-60% less than the first one? Like it's just like I don't know. I don't know why they did it. I really don't.
It makes sense too why those numbers are like that because like I feel like if you're trying to get into VR, you would get the first one. Then if
Yes.
VR2 comes out, well, I just spent fucking $600 or whatever the hell it is for the.
I mean, it
VR.
seems like all the competitors have way more selection or
Yeah.
better features and whatnot, whereas PlayStation just kind of had Horizon was like its really big exclusive title, but even that's this is a short little experience. If you love Horizon, you probably really enjoy that, but if you don't care for Horizon, you don't care at all about that.
I feel
Spider-Man 2 VR.
Yeah, and honestly, it could be something like that, or
Oh my
like
God,
a
that would
swing
be
experience, or
Sickening to
something.
play that.
Yeah.
You'd just be puking your brains
But I think
out.
you could. It's not like out of the realm
Realm
of
of possibility.
Yeah, but like, I just feel like whoever had the initial idea for Skull and Bones got fired, went to PlayStation, then had this idea for VR2, and they're
Oh my
like,
God.
okay.
It's just one guy. Yeah. We can
Yeah.
throw him under the bus constantly.
There's L's after.
Yeah, you know where he came from? He was the guy that created the Xbox One press conference. he that was his baby. He directed that whole show, and obviously bad conference for Xbox. So.
He did the design for the fucking Halo guy, whatever.
Yeah, the whole thing, the no Wi-Fi, all those ideas, all this guy. He's just killing the industry one by one.
Mm-hmm. Any other PlayStation thoughts, or should we move on to the next one?
I'm curious. Fuck.
It's a curse word now.
I'm interested when they have these. If they have a lesser year, just even what they do with PlayStation Plus. I know there'll be other games, but just because I feel like just in general, I feel like they want to try to keep that going big, and I sometimes
Got to
they'll
feed the
feel-
beast on those
yeah,
for sure.
and I feel like other than I guess some games this year, usually they fuel a couple other ones. So we'll see. But again, maybe they'll just have a banger year of trailers, announcements, promises. They drop a Venom trailer, but they gotta have some stuff cooking. They're
Yeah.
sound great, so they can't stop. So
Sure.
Something I'm a little interested in, just because I saw it on the list here. I'm not even sure if it's a PlayStation only, but that Silent Hill 2 title that is in the ether somewhere.
all right.
Just I'm
Is
just
that
curious
just like a
more than
remake
anything.
essentially, or
I don't even know. It just Silent Hill 2, 2024, probably going to be 2025, 2026. I don't know.
I have so little
Like,
faith in Konami right now that it's
Yeah.
like who knows what that's gonna look like.
Yeah, I'm curious nonetheless, just because really like the franchise of Silent Hill.
And you did bring it up. They actually could make the Metal Gear game a big deal. Like they could, like, it is not Kojima, but it is still a big franchise. I feel like there's a generation of people that are always, I never played Metal Gear. I never played Metal Gear. Like I feel like there's a generation of people that are waiting to jump in that. I think they also have the chance to fall on their face with Snake Eater. I will probably be there day one as long as it's not the awful reviews, because I have not played those games in ages and I've not bought any of those remasters. So I think they could put a lot of chutzpah behind that to be something. But I think it's just a timed exclusive, right? Or is it just exclusive?
It's at least timed.
Okay.
I don't know beyond that.
So if it's
I mean,
timed,
the,
then I
the
reserve the right to walk that back. But
yeah, I mean, I don't know where the funding, like if PlayStation funded it in some way, maybe it stays there. But the Master Collection, whatever that has all those games that they just released, like that came to everything. So
yeah.
I don't know. At least from Konami's point of view, it doesn't look like they're trying to make those things stay exclusive. So we'll see what happens there.
Okay.
Moving on to Xbox, because I know you're falling asleep over there, Taylor. I got to bring you back in here, reel you back in with some Xbox stuff. There's a few things that really kind of should come out this year, I would say. We still obviously don't have a ton of dates, and I think, as I mentioned earlier, like they probably got pretty scared after Redfall and Starfield getting delayed and not being happy with their release dates sticking. So I imagine they're just trying to be a bit more liquid with their release dates there and try not to announce things until they feel a bit more confident in them. But Hellblade 2 or Senua's Saga Hellblade 2, I would say is probably going to come out this year. Stalker 2, I think, is probably almost guaranteed because I think that was like supposed to come out in December and just like barely got kicked out of last year. And then I would say maybe Avowed would be the other one that I would really bet on being this year. Those would maybe be the big
all
three.
Taylor games. All
About I'm interested in. I really
Are you
am.
okay?
Yeah, get me my Elder Scrolls fix because that's coming out in like 25 years from now.
Oh, right.
25
it's
years,
this game. I always see that fucking purple hand, right?
I feel like Stalker could be something you would want to play. First-person shooter.
Stalker. Oh, right. I forgot about that one. Stalker 2. Heart of
That's the one.
Chernobyl.
Heart of Chernobyl, yeah.
That
Big
would
Chernobyl
be
fan.
the next one I would try. I don't really have that much interest in trying Hellblade.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just out of those three, that would be at the bottom. I have other titles. One in particular, I've just been waiting to hear something on since they announced it, and nothing. So
What's that?
State of Decay 3. Ever since we got
Yeah,
that
dude,
teaser
that has been
trailer.
quiet for so freaking long. Do you
I
think
know.
that makes sense for 2024? Obviously, it's a shot in the dark, but what do you think?
I'd be really surprised if we get it in 2024. It's just upsetting. I feel like that was State of Decay 1. I'm pretty sure it was one of the earlier titles to drop with like the Xbox One, and then the second one came out. I sunk so many hours with my friends, so many hours, not hour.
I sunk
hours
so
with
many
my
with my
friends.
friends.
So many hours.
It took a lot of hours to sunk a lot of my
I mean, man,
no.
they haven't released a game since State of Decay 2, and that was 2018. That's got to come out this
I'm
year.
sorry.
It's got to, right?
I wish. It's such a good franchise. It
So
really,
much
really
you,
is.
Taylor.
So hopefully this year. But I doubt it.
Straps, bootstraps.
Hey, what are we doing out here?
I know people even were anticipating like, oh, this would have been the year 2023 when I say that we get Gears 6. No, nothing there. I think people are just on edge anticipating like we're gonna get something, and I don't know. Is it too bold to say that a Gear 6 could drop in 2024?
Well, you know better than us. Is that stuff that in the past, like we were talking about with PlayStation, where they don't usually do that? They have like a long preview cycle. Would you see it where they would drop like a trailer in summer and then it come on the fall?
I don't feel like they would do that with Gears. Gears is like their flagship. They like to really pump it up, get Dave Bautista up on
I don't think it's
the
their I think it'd be their
there.
second flagship behind Halo. I think Halo's still, despite its issues, I still think like if you put a gun to if you gave Phil Spencer some cement boots and said you have to pick Halo or Gears, I think they're gonna pick Halo every time if they had to keep one.
That could even be different now when you factor in Bethesda and Activision Blizzard. Like, I don't know, their big thing might just be like Elder Scrolls now.
True,
Like,
but I'm saying between the two, don't you feel like Halo's still more valuable
oh
than
yeah,
Gears?
I would say so. Even if Infinite, well, I think Infinite has been having a comeback actually.
Yeah, but Taylor's
which
taking
is
way
cool.
too long to answer this because he's a Gear fan. So he'd be
Because
pushing
I
the
feel-
cement
I
block in the
feel-
water, sunken Phil.
I feel like Gears definitely had that momentum when it dropped like Gears
1 to
4 and
3.
5.
What? No.
No, when they had that like over Halo, when it had that momentum, Bungie had left, and then Halo 4 wasn't well received. Halo 5 is really not well received.
Okay,
then
Halo
Gears
4 and
comes into
5.
the picture,
Right.
and people are like,
That
"Oh,
makes
okay,
sense.
this is looking pretty good."
I
But
thought you were trying to
for sure,
pitch me Gears 4 and 5 had the momentum. Like, no, that's when
No,
Gears,
no, no,
that's when
no,
they
no.
lost the momentum.
just like how I would say Halo 1 to Reach, or maybe like 1 to 3, Gears 1 to 3. That's like peak
Oh, yeah.
Gears.
Gears 1 to 3, those were the high times, you know. That was a good. That was when everyone's like, "This has to be a movie." When they doing this, like that was that. At that point, I would give you they were bigger than Halo, but yeah,
So yeah, Gears 5 came out 2019. Then they also made Gears Tactics, which came out in 2020. So it's been a while at this point. Do you think their next game is for sure the next Gears title from Coalition?
I would say so.
Yeah.
Like, what other non-Gears titles have they worked on?
I mean, they work. It says here that they worked on Halo Infinite and The Matrix Awakens, but I think they're more like support studio doing who knows what the hell they did on those games, but they were involved to some extent.
Matrix Awakens. What the hell is that? My God.
Yeah.
Taylor, did 5 for Gears end in a way that the 6 has to pick up on that story?
I don't remember. It's been a long time.
I just feel like that is perfect for Gears of War subtitle. I feel like no more numbers, get people back on board. I think even though everyone loves Marcus Phoenix and everything, maybe it's a time to like go a different route. Like I feel like that is just needs a kick in the pants to get people really like people like myself. Like you talk about like I remember my friends, we'd be staying up till 4 a.m. to get through that campaign. Like that was a good time, and I feel like they've lost that. So I feel like they should. I'm not saying reboot, but something maybe. A new, fresh, shiny painted coat, not just here's another Gears, because it got that after 3, because it was Judgment, right? Judgment 4 and 5, right? Those are the ones.
Judgment was the prequel, focused
Yeah.
on like Baird.
Yeah, so I don't know. I just feel like they need to come back in big style, and if they were doing what I said, it probably wouldn't be out this year, because then they'd probably want to build it up marketing wise. So
Yeah, I think that makes sense. And then, there's the Indiana Jones game. There's Perfect Dark. I don't think those are coming out this year. If I had to guess, I think Replaced, which it's not a first party game by any means, but that was like a big cool game. Or a cool looking indie game that I would imagine is going to come out this year.
is it done? It was supposed to be out last year, and they never even gave us a fucking update on anything.
Yeah, I
Like last trailer was
This is the year.
2023. Last trailer was 2023, and they never put an update or a new teaser saying, "Hey, next year." It's just like it's still just out there in the ether. It's like that other. What was the other game I always forget? There's Replaced, and the other it's like One Night and something or.
last night maybe.
Yeah, and that's a
Yeah.
game that was supposed to be out years ago. Like, is Replaced just gonna be another one of these games that I got? Travis rarely gets hyped for indie games. I'm like, oh, this looks cool. Maybe I try it. There's rarely a time I'm like, oh, this is top the list. And the games that does happen, they're just non-existent. Poof, they get sunken by Taylor in the fucking Kelowna Ocean. And now I don't have Replaced. I don't have the Last Night. Like, hey, it's happened many times. Like, what's going on over there? Like, where are these fucking games? Like, I'm sick and tired of this. Replaced better come out.
I mean, I don't want to throw you under the bus, but I'm pretty sure this is a game that got delayed because of the war ongoing. Like, I think they're a
Okay,
developer
that's fair.
in that part of the world.
No, that's fair. I did not have
How
said
dare you,
information.
Travis?
I take it all back. So that's Replaced though, right?
Yes, for replace.
So what's the story for Last Night then?
I don't know anything about Last Night. I will not make any case for that game. I don't know anything about it.
And that's completely fine. Then that gets the full Travis pass. Then that's okay.
I mean, I think
Last
I
Night-
think that happened to Stalker too, but I think they are like
Yes, yeah.
back on track and whatnot. So hopefully it's the same thing for Replaced.
And India, I'm not needing the game, but just please give us just fucking anything on Indiana Jones. I wish they never even announced this game. Like, we've gotten a hat pickup
Yeah.
and that's it. Like, details. What do they do? Is it like what era is it? Like, what type of gameplay? Like, I'm just
Whip
like it's-
mechanics.
Yeah, whip mechanics, horse mechanics, boat mechanics.
Yeah.
You know, all these.
I mean, looking at
mechanics.
Sync
like
mechanics.
Wolfenstein, like the
Sync
last big
mechanics.
Wolfenstein game was 2019, so it's been a while. But then I'm also seeing here that they, like Machine Games, worked on Quake and Quake 2, like those remakes, remasters, whatever, to some extent. I don't know if they're primary or just a support studio. So I guess that could make
Matrix
sense of why
Awakens.
it's getting kicked down. Yeah, another one of those games. So yeah, hopefully, once again, I think we'll finally get maybe info this year, but I would be.
They
I
have
might even
to,
take that
right?
back. Well,
Because they
the
don't
thing
have.
is,
What do they have? What does just Bethesda have coming out overall?
Bethesda, I would say probably very little this year,
So
if
I
anything.
feel like this should be a year where the conference just has a lot of info, cool trailers, cool details.
But I think what could throw a wrench in that is that now that the acquisition of Activision Blizzard has gone through, that gives Xbox content for like 2 or 3 years of like, here's a big drop on Game Pass. We're dropping 20 new Activision Blizzard games. 2 months later, another 20 games. Like they
Stupid
have so
government
much
should've blocked it.
potential there to just have like be in the conversation this year, just re-releasing games or whatever Activision Blizzard stuff is like exclusive to their stuff. So like I don't think they need to talk about some of those things now if they're not ready. And I hope Xbox takes that approach of like just wait until you have things ready. And maybe that's why they've been so silent on State of Decay and Indie and Perfect Dark. Or maybe it's because those games are just not doing well in development. Like I didn't even bring up Fable because I don't think that's coming until at least 2026 or something. Like that's way down the road.
that's a fake game.
Yeah, but Taylor, like, what do you like? I mentioned Avowed's Hellblade 2 and Stalker 2. I feel like those to me seem like almost guaranteed this year. What do you think? Or what are you expecting from Xbox this year from like the first party studios? You could include Activision Blizzard if you want, but that's kind of a can of worms.
Is it too bold to say like I just want that Guitar Hero drop? Just
I'd say it's pretty bold. Yeah.
I feel like it's not a difficult game to just. I can't see them spending like 3 years working on a game like Guitar Hero. I feel like.
Oh, what you been doing? 3 years working on a game that's already been made before just to get these fucking songs in there. That's a money
Like it's the
laundering
fucking
scheme.
controllers. That's the hardest part. Like,
Yeah,
the
that's the
guitars.
supply
That would be-
chain
that would
feels
be
like
Yeah.
the
some
issue on
R
that.
and D time there. Yeah, I mean that.
Yeah, like I feel like Xbox might want that. They might want Guitar Hero now that they have that IP, but I think that's far too soon for. I think it's far too soon for anything new from like the Xbox part of it to come in, own these studios now, and say, "Hey, make a game." Like none of that stuff's going to come out for a long time. It's more just like that Game Pass is going to have a ton of new drops from that back catalog of things.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Like even like the new Call of Duty this year, I could very well see that being a day one Game Pass drop at this point. I mean, I feel like it's got to be, right? And that's huge. That's a big deal for them in the fall. It might not be super new or exciting in the way that like Indiana Jones is a new exciting thing, but that's huge from a business perspective from Xbox. So maybe because of this acquisition, they can kind of sit on their laurels a bit and just let these games cook and not release buggy games like Redfall and release like big finished games. So I'm very excited for Avowed. That's top of my pile. I love what Obsidian's doing. I'm very excited for them to get into fantasy. I think that'll be a really fun pairing. I'm very excited for Hellblade, and Stalker 2 looks great as well. So I'm excited for what they have coming out this year, and I hope Game Pass is still big and exciting this year, even though they spent a lot of money to get that Activision Blizzard acquisition through. I hope they can still shell out money on the side to get other big third party and indie stuff on the platform this year.
There's also like nothing on the Last Night game. I think there was some controversy about the themes being like right wing or something, but
Okay, well,
I don't know.
that sucks.
another fake game.
Another fake game. There was rumor. Was just happening this week. Rumors of Sea of Thieves coming to Switch and PlayStation. Do you guys think that's gonna happen. This is coming from reputable sources. This is coming from the S tier, A tier
Right.
scoopers,
I heard about
to use
that.
the Travis terminology there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, why not? They've gotten all I think they've squeezed as much water out as that stone that they could on Xbox. So I think
Nice try. My God.
I think that's an expression. That's an expression. Look it up. Yeah, why not? Get a whole base in there.
I think that me and Kirkland both go for a glass of water after that.
Yeah,
we have to.
Squeeze some
Thirsty,
water out
eh?
of my rock or whatever
Yeah.
you said.
I can believe that. Like butter scraped over too much bread.
Oh, that's so funny. I mean, Kirkland, I know you're not big in the ecosystem, but any expectations for Xbox this year?
Not really. My yeah, not really. I don't know. I
Fair
just
enough.
kind of distance myself from it. My dad's a big Gears fan, so for
Okay.
his sake,
Oh,
you know,
he'd be
hopefully
hyped.
some Gears announcements.
Let's do it. Moving on then to Nintendo. So the big thing here is that it feels like this is the year of the Switch 2, right? The Switch Pro, the Super Switch, the Switch Successor, whatever you want to call it. It seems like this is finally going to be the year, and if I had to guess, I'd say they are going to just release a few things in the first half of the year and then maybe drop that in the fall, perhaps. Maybe that makes a lot of sense. What do you guys think about that?
I think you're bang on right with that one.
What do you think? September, October, November?
August.
August, okay, a little bit, even a summer drop. Have we ever had a console release in August before?
I thought we did, but I could be wrong. When did the Wii U drop?
The
That's
Wii
probably
U,
the
oh
fall.
god, who knows? The Switch came out in March, right?
November.
Maybe that's a reason. November. Yeah, I'll just be bold. I'll say stick with August, right during the summer break. Some kids get it while they're off on summer. Yeah, there you go. Why not? If I pick fall, it's just boring picks. Yeah, August on my birthday, 27th.
Nice. Love it.
I won't buy
Kirkland
it.
Taylor, do you guys think this is coming out this year? Finally, at long last?
I think yes. I'm gonna be boring. Just say that November.
November. Okay.
Yeah. leading
Taylor,
into
you have to say
holiday.
something different.
I'm gonna say September. I really am just kind of surprised that it's already been this long since the first Switch came out. Like I remember getting my
2017, yeah.
Switch, but yeah, 2017 seems like it was yesterday. It kind of blows my mind. So
And
I
it's
remember
like they
shitting
do-
on the Switch, and look at me now. I love
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, same too. I
I'm
mean,
never
those
buying
initial
the
trailers,
Switch.
I was
Yeah.
like, the hell is this,
Oh,
playing
yeah.
basketball on a rooftop?
Yeah,
you go,
exactly,
Yeah,
the
you go back
rooftop
to
trailer.
the Switch reveal. Very negative GeekVerse cast there, but yeah, like I know you said finally, and it's like 2017, so that's a fair amount of time. But I still question them doing like I just think they don't even need to. They could have just sat for another 5 years and just kept rolling what they're doing. And I'm
Yeah.
interested to see what the updates are. But from the rumors that I've heard and that are more source and me hearing stuff online, I don't have any sources, so just don't worry. Doesn't sound like anything like I need to buy until my Switch breaks. Like it just sounds like it's an HD, more powerful
fair.
version, and I'm happy with what my Switch does right now. So until they give me the whole, hey, you can't get the new Smash Bros on this console, then it's like okay, sure. But if it's just more powerful, I'm good to wait.
Yeah, everything we've heard seems that it will be a very iterative sequel console, and like all your games are going to carry over onto it, and it'll be a bit more powerful, and it'll probably be things exclusive to it from that the first Switch can't run, but it also just hopefully crack open the gates so that a lot more third-party stuff can be there. But even from what we've heard, it's like running at the power of like a PS4 Pro, so it's already going to be outdated in that way for a lot of first-party or for a lot of third-party developers. But still, then there's like a million other games they can port if they have that different tech to go on there. And then like they had
Yeah,
the
it's just-
cloud streaming thing for like a handful of games, for like the bigger games that couldn't run, of course. And that doesn't seem like it really took off in a huge way. So I think it makes sense, but I'm excited for it to just be running slightly better with better. I just want like better frame rate and a little bit better graphics on like my Switch first party games. And I want all my games to carry over, which is the good thing. And I think that makes sense. Like Nintendo was, had different direction at the time when it was doing crazy new weird ideas with every console release. And they have like different people who are controlling those things now. And I think it'll be just more of a businessy sort of company where it's like,
Yeah.
no, we don't need every console to be some crazy twist and the thing you expect or want from us. We're instead going to do some crazy 180 pivot into some weirdo console. Like they're not going to do that anymore, I don't think. Or, maybe they'll do it in a smaller way, but I think that what they have with the Switch is the winning formula, and it's hard to move away from the hybrid console at this point. So yeah, I think it'll be a very simple upgrade, but one that I'm personally very, very excited for, as 30 frames is feeling rough over here.
Is that
for
like a
certain
day one
games.
buy then for you?
I think so, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And I don't know what the games are. So maybe if there isn't like a day one game that I care about, maybe I wait a bit. But it's like if I'm going to wait a few months, then I might as well just get it day one, because it's not like the price is going to drop in that amount of time or anything. So to talk more about those games, so we talked about, there's that Mario vs. Donkey Kong remake. There's Princess Peach. There's was there another one? I think that was it. Those are the only two that we mentioned so far. Then there was Luigi's Mansion 2 HD. We know is coming at some point in the summer. For some reason, they've announced that so early. And then Paper Mario Thousand Year Door, that GameCube remaster, is also coming out. I don't know. We don't have a release date for it yet, but probably I would say first half of the year. I would guess those are all things that want to come out before the Switch 2, and then Switch 2 can be like, big new game at launch. So what do you guys think that big day one launch title would be?
When was Odyssey?
2017. It was a launch window game, at least.
That's your one right there, especially with the hype
Odyssey
of Mario, Odyssey sequel, or just Mario blank, like whatever that new type of follow up to Odyssey 3D World or whatever. God,
Just a 3D Mario of some extent.
Yes, exactly. I think that's the one. I think they might maybe even do some sort of like Tears of the Kingdom, really good, like the special nice edition. What I really want them to do, because Dylan said they've never done this, is why maybe I would have to wait. I would love it if they did like a Smash Game of the Year thing, where that's where you bring out every DLC character. Maybe it costs a little bit more than your average game, but that's completely fine. But I think Mario, that's the go-to. Mario's got the hot hand right now. That movie's huge, like mega huge with kids. Like Mario's always been big, but this is like, I think since the 90s, I could comfortably say this is the biggest Mario's been again, because that movie just like introduced him to a whole nother generation. So, Mario Odyssey or whatever it is, I think that's the play. Metroid.
Metroid Prime 4.
Is that cooking? Yeah,
it's about time. I think.
That'd be bold. That would be hype if you had that with it, but I don't think so.
Yeah, I think I don't know if they'd want that as like the sole big day one game. I don't know why. Something about it. I think they'd want something. I think they would just want like a Mario or Zelda to be that day one thing for sure. But if they had Mario plus Metroid, that would be insane. That would be a really, really huge launch lineup.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree with the Mario release, just because it's a family game, but also like a single player game as well. It's not like you need other people to play it with you, because there is going to be a lot of people that are just purchasing it for that single player experience. But like, it's also been a long time, since we've had the last Mario Kart game. I feel like that could be really hype, but it's also like we just been getting these DLCs, so we have been getting Mario Kart releases, so that like maybe that makes me think not so much near the launch window, but definitely in the life cycle of the Switch 2 and like fairly early on, I would imagine we get some murmur about the next Mario Kart game, just because it has been so long. But definitely, some sort of Mario title. If it's not Mario Kart, I could definitely see like another sports type thing for Mario, because Mario.
we haven't had one of those in a bit.
Tennis? Was it Mario Tennis that came out with Switch as well? Like there was another.
That was the first one for sure.
Yeah. Okay.
And that or like Mario Party, Super Mario Party. I forget which one of those two came out first. Those are like the two early ones. And the last one of those games that we got was Mario Strikers, I think, which was not even last year. That was 2022, right? So it's been a while since we've had a new Mario Party or
Sluggers
sports game.
It's time.
I would love
Mario
that.
Golf come
We
out
heard
as
rumors about that, I thought. So
Mario Golf was also 2022, I believe.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Or even 2021, maybe. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, some sort of sports Mario title. The easy answer is just a Mario game. I definitely think Metroid would be extremely hyped, though, if they were able to get that and just show off like a beautiful, not 30 frames per second trailer for gameplay.
Yeah, maybe that's the reason that game has been pushed back even more than one would expect. Maybe
limited
it was
by the
just a hardware
technology
thing.
of their time.
Yeah, exactly. That would be cool if it was like, Metroid needed that next gen hardware. That would be a cool thing to see. Because I feel like for a Mario or Zelda, like that's never going to be the thing that holds it back. Even see that with Tears of the Kingdom, of course. Just living its 20 frames per second glory over there.
I'm chuckling to myself because it's like we're listening to these great ideas that they could release, but it's also Nintendo, and they could have some new like cardboard game,
Yeah.
like Weibo
Labo
thing.
2.
Labo,
Yeah.
that's what it was.
It could be, but man, like I said, I don't know. I just feel like the new CEOs of Nintendo are less playful in that way, and they're more just like, what's profitable? It's like I don't know.
Yeah.
But I could be wrong. What do I know?
Just give me a
They fired the guy
Star
that Ubisoft fired, that Travis was.
Yeah,
Yeah, that guy,
he came
he
in.
jumped
He
over
w-
to Nintendo.
He also had the Labo idea. That was his idea as well too. he just fucking sucks. There's no way around it. He just I don't know. He must have some rich
Worst
dad.
resume in
Yeah.
history of gaming.
But you know what? If he gets me a Star Fox game, I'd hire him. That's what I'm hoping for with the
That'd be
Switch 2.
crazy.
You know, I know the Wii U one. I know the bad showing and all, but like it's time for my boy to get I think Metroid's gonna get the treatment first of the revitalized, but it's time for Fox McCloud to get back in the limelight. You know, maybe I'm gonna have to wait till a movie happens or something, or Smash Bros movie.
Yeah.
But I'm ready for Fox to be back and people like I'm ready for my kids to know who Star Fox is. You know.
I don't think people care enough. I'm sorry to say, man.
I think you might be right. I think there was.
I think the genre of like those, whatever, like flying space on rails games. I don't think that's a genre that people really care about anymore. I don't think.
Okay, then give me Star Fox Adventure. Let's get that going. You know.
Now that
Like,
would be cool, but
it's the best game. I think the Wii U, like that last game was their last shot to win people back. Like they had to make a great game and they didn't. So I think you're right, but like, so what is he just gonna?
I'd love to be proven wrong. That's just me taking the temperature of the world. I
But
don't
so
know.
do you
That's
think
my
now
bad.
for like the let's say decade? What are we in? We're 2024. So you think now until 2034 he's just a Smash character?
Yeah, I mean he's got to come back sooner or later.
Like they're making all these other like I guess they're all successful. I just feel like
You're not wrong. I mean that's the thing. Like any series, like Metroid Dread was the biggest Metroid game. Pikmin 4 is the biggest Pikmin game. Like all these kind of
Yeah.
smaller Nintendo franchises that have had like a few releases over the years, but have never been the Zelda or the Mario. You know, their Switch release isn't on that tier, but it's still like that's where you're getting the biggest games for all of these series. And I feel like that would be the case for Star Fox, unless the game was absolutely horrible. So
Which
yeah,
it could
I
be,
think
yeah.
it is a time to do it, but I don't know. Maybe with the release of a Switch 2, maybe they just want to go back to the tried and true stuff for a bit, and
Yeah.
maybe Star Fox happens in a while. So
I just think maybe you're right where okay that type of game's not the same, then they take the Star Fox brand and they do something different, like do a game in space but completely busted open, like the way Breath of the Wild was. And it's different because Zelda always successful, lots of versions, but the way that was like, oh, Zelda's open world and we're doing something new, like do that with Star Fox Adventures mixed with those old games where you have the aerial stuff but he's on the ground, like
Yeah.
but at the same time we've been talking about this since the beginning of the podcast. He could just become Captain Falcon, where Captain Falcon's never gonna get like there's never gonna be an F-Zero. He's just in Smash, he appears, but like that's never gonna be a thing again. And I just don't want my
yeah, they
boy
released
to-
like F-Zero 99, but that's like the best you're gonna get, and then
Yeah.
like maybe a remake of a GameCube game or something.
At least my hope is that there's some writer out there is like, let's make a Top Gun but Nintendo, and that's Star Fox. And I still feel like there's
They should have capitalized on the Top Gun hype. That would have been a good time.
still time. There's still time, you know. So
It's still crushing it at the box office.
it's still on the theory. Let's revisit this in 2034 and see where Star
Let's do
Fox
it.
is. You know,
I'll
When
put
was
it on
game?
put it on the GV calendar. The one that I would love to see is finally a new release for Donkey Kong. Of course, I'm a Donkey Kong 64 stan, so I'd love to see it like finally get a 3D open worldy sort of game in the Odyssey style with Donkey Kong characters. But even just a 2D, like a Tropical Freeze sequel, just the next 2D game. Like I don't think we got any new Donkey Kong game on Switch, any at all whatsoever.
That's Nate.
Which is kind of crazy. So I would love to see that. I think that would be a good launch lineup thing if they don't quite have a Mario or a Zelda ready. I think a big Donkey Kong game along with a Metroid or something could make for a really solid launch lineup. So that's something I'd like to see. I'd love that 3D one, but I'll take a 2D one as well. It's kind of where I'm at.
You're definitely getting a Donkey Kong because I feel like that movie's gonna be coming. Whatever it is, you're getting.
Yeah, that one
something
makes
Donkey Kong
sense
related.
for sure.
Donkey
Yeah.
Kong could even be. We're talking about Mario. That could even be that Switch 2 launch game. You know, because I feel like he's climbing up the ranks again as far as popularity. And to update us on that last conversation, Star Fox Zero sold less than 500,000 copies. So not great.
Right.
It was on
Yeah,
the Wii U
that's-
though. It was on the Wii U, so
Yeah, it was, but yeah, that's still those are not good
Yeah.
numbers.
But you're getting something for Donkey Kong. I promise in the next 2 years you're getting a Donkey Kong game. for
Yeah,
sure.
I feel like pretty solid about that. I think it's about time. Taylor, what do you think? What do you expect for a launch lineup, launch window sort of thing for a Switch sequel?
Well, I was just trying to like do a little like perusing around here and see, and I think you guys are spot on with the Mario. I thought that I don't know about in terms of like a launch title, but it would be interesting to see if they were to do like a Baldur's Gate 3 release in line with how they did Skyrim.
Oh my god!
Because they did Skyrim on the Switch, so Baldur's Gate would make sense to kind of go along with that.
That game has crashed 100 times on my Xbox. I can't imagine what that would look like on a Switch. Holy!
I also think a big heavy hitter for them dropping the Switch 2 would be like, hey, you have all these online games you can play, or these like Switch Online you can play N64 and Game Boy, but with the Switch 2, you can get GameCube games with Switch Online. I think that would be a huge incentive.
Yeah, yeah, that would
and
be a good
then-
one. Yeah.
I'm going to share this screen here because I was looking at all the different launch titles for all the previous Nintendo consoles. I thought it was kind of interesting because definitely Mario's in there, but I forgot about like 1-2 Switch. That's one that was on there, so maybe we'll get some kind of.
that
Well, that
fucking
just
Batman
had a new
game was
release.
So good, man.
I'm guessing you
Did it
forgot
really?
about that. That had a new game come out like in September. A new one
Did
to
it
Switch. I forget what it was
actually?
called, but yeah, it like just came out and was apparently horrible. What is it even called? I'm gonna look up the Metacritic on it.
That, by the way, that Batman
Everybody
GameCube
want to
game,
Switch.
really underrated game.
Vengeance, it's
I
good.
rebought that on Amazon. It's fucking real.
Which game?
good.
Sorry.
Batman Vengeance in the GameCube era. Real good Batman game. Oof.
It has Vengeance on the title, so I feel like that gives you some bonus points. Everybody Want to Switch scored a 56 on Metacritic.
Oh, it's called Everybody Want to Switch.
That's what the
ti-
sequel's called. Yeah.
Yeah, there's not, and we've talked about this before too. With the other consoles, when you usually look at the launch lineups, they're never really like that impressive. There's like the one game, if that, and sometimes many of them they're like, oh, it's one game that kind of sucks. I think Nintendo's better than
yeah.
some of them, but
Knack.
Knack, R.I.P. Knack, but yeah, no, I think it's just Mario. If you look at this, that's probably the safe route to go.
Yeah, I think especially with Switch getting off to such a strong start because of Breath of the Wild being the launch title.
Yeah.
And then Odyssey following it up in like the fall of that year, that it would make sense if they want to have a huge new launch for this sequel console. Taylor, any Pokemon thoughts? Any like, what would be a Pokemon thing that would release this year?
Oh, that's a good question.
Like a remake maybe of a game?
Yeah, they've been doing a lot of those. What were the last ones? Diamond and Pearl, and those were very, very different remakes to a certain like degree or caliber, I would say, compared to what the other ones were, because those were more like 3D than they were like just two-dimensional, like up, down,
Yeah.
left, right kind of style. I'm optimistic, but at the same time, after how disappointing Scarlet was and Violet, those graphics were shit. They were they are still super shitty. It's 2024 and it just looks disgusting.
I heard that guy that made the Labo was working on this game.
Yeah. I don't
yeah.
regret
Skull and Bones
buying the
guy.
game to just keep on porting all my dudes over, because I'm big advocate on that. I got my Pokemon Bank. I'm just going hard with that. But just to look and see that game, it's absolutely horrible. It's so fucking
I was so curious about the Pokemon Discord in our Discord, and I saw someone's moved it to the old chats. That's how. And last time someone was in there was July, so I was like, "Oh, what's been popping off in there?" But yeah, nothing really.
No, there's
Like,
not been a lot of Pokemon.
Have you
hype.
seen the graphics, Travis and Kirkland?
No, I every phone, every
Look
no,
at this.
I can't, did you see that Black Mirror episode where the parents put those parental things in the eyes, they can't see certain things? That's how I am with Pokemon. So right now I just see blurs. I don't see anything.
Well,
Taylor, I don't want to
shit.
cut you off, but like 2024, what do you think we got for Pokemon?
He just wanted to complain about that. But yeah. Stadium 2? Or what? No, what was the what was your fighting?
We've
game
had
that you
Stadium
like?
2, Stadium
Pokken
3.
2?
Pokken. I'd love another Pokken. Man, the fact that they did that on the Switch, that was one of the big sellers for me. I need to get all my games on the Switch, and Pokken was one of them. But I don't think we're going to get another sequel follow-up to Pokken, as nice as that would be. I think we are probably going to get probably a remake Pokemon title. I don't think we're going to get a new one. They just dropped some DLC for Scarlet and Violet. So,
They did, yeah. That was like in the fall, right?
yeah. So
I think if they did like a remake of like Emerald or something, like one of those big ones, that would be like a hype release. Like that would be huge for
do you
people.
think they would do like a? Because I feel like they do like Sapphire, Ruby, and then they've done.
What generation was
Diamond
Sapphire
Pearl.
Ruby? Was that a DS game originally?
That was Game Boy.
So I think like Emerald, because that was a GBA game. That could make sense timeline wise if they do it that way.
It would, but I don't know if they would do that like that. It's like that triangle like hat trick game, like your Platinum, Pokemon, yeah, Emerald. As much as I would love that, because Emerald was fantastic, Platinum was fantastic, and I could see them doing like Pokemon White, Pokemon Black, or Pokemon White 2, Pokemon Black 2. I feel like those ones could be the next that they tackle. Maybe even combine like Black 1, Black 2, vice versa. So
I feel like there's just got to be a Pokemon release every year. I just don't know what the one is for this year. Like that would make the most sense to me. But even then, like the last remake came out. Like what? I guess it wasn't last year. I guess it was 2022 at this point. And Pokemon Company kind of just poops those games out, like even if they're not finished. So like I don't know, they could just release one at launch title, even if it's not very good. I guess
it could be something more in line too with like Arceus, Legends of Arceus.
That's a
Maybe
good
like
point,
follow-up
actually.
to
Yeah,
that.
and I think an Arceus sequel that would be a really good one. Yeah.
Or I guess even we have like Let's Go Eevee, Let's Go Pikachu. So
They haven't,
they've
done one of those in a
definitely-
long time.
Yeah, they dipped their toes around there.
Yeah.
So
Any other Nintendo thoughts? 2024. Going once, going twice. Sold. Okay, so we're gonna take our last break here. We'll be right back to talk about just some third-party things, just to close it out here. So we'll be right back. Okay, so just a few more games here that, once again, don't have release dates, but are kind of slated to come out this year. One big one is the Elden Ring DLC should be coming out. I'd say pretty soon here, probably within. I'm gonna say with before April or before May. You know, within the first 4 months of the year, I think that'll come out, and that'll probably be a pretty big deal. I imagine it'll be pretty big at this point because that game came out at the start of last year or start of 2 years ago. At this point, all my years are getting mixed up now. It's been a long time, so I feel like that could be pretty substantial. And I don't know, that could be one that's like a game of the year for people, even if it's a DLC. Like I could see it being that big and interesting, and an evolution of Elden Ring, which was such a huge game. So that's definitely a big one. Travis, do you think you'll pick that up?
Yeah, I'm just.
I guess you haven't finished the base game yet, right?
Yeah, no, I think I'm close to, but I'm just mentally preparing to get back.
Nice.
Because that's like it is fun, but it's also like it's a challenging video game play. It's not like and that's not gonna be my first thing after I'm done editing this movie. I want like a nice Kirkland on the hard level. How hard is Baldur's Gate?
I mean, Dylan's played it too, so you can ask him. But
Oh, I forgot.
no,
that
I'm not
came to
allowed.
Xbox. Sorry, no, sorry, I forgot.
There's
I forgot it
difficulty
came to Xbox.
selectors, so there's like adventure mode, which like would
Okay, I'm
definitely
not
tone
gonna
down
play fucking
the
adventure
difficulty.
mode. Don't talk down.
I
to
think
me.
balance is a nice nice setup.
There's
I don't
easy
know, you're asking
mode.
for an
There's
easy time.
kindergarten. Whatever mode you
I'm
guys
playing
have
on
played
tactical on my my solo run, which is very challenging, and then Shay and I are doing balanced campaign.
Dylan, what are you?
And there's also a custom difficulty.
I asked Dylan
setting.
now. Your time's up.
Oh my god, you're being savage right now. Balanced, there's been some moments that have been pretty hard on that difficulty, and I have to factor in that I think this will be a bit hard for you because you have never played D&D, and some of the mechanics will make no sense to you. So I wouldn't say it's the easiest game, but I think it can also be low key and just a nice place to hang out, a nice world to be in that way. So I think it's got its highs and lows in terms of intensity.
Well, hopefully they have some sort of easy mode or something like that, just a
Kindergarten mode.
Yeah. but I was gonna say, Dylan, it's probably nowhere compares to Elden Ring, right? As far as that difficulty.
Well, I mean, this is like turn-based combat, so it feels different than Elden Ring, where it's like you actually have to have reflexes to be good at Elden Ring. But this game,
No, that's
it's about having a big brain. So do you have a big brain? I guess is the question.
It depends the day and depends how much sleep I've had, lack thereof.
Yeah.
But no, I'm I got the Kotar genes, Dylan, so I'm all ready for the turn-based stuff. See, that's why already you've sold me, because Elden Ring, there's no turn-based. That's kid's got to be asleep.
I will say that I
gotta
feel
be locked in.
the way the
ready to
turn-based
roll, you know.
kind of works in this game, it's like ever so slightly like Midnight Suns a little bit.
Oh,
I don't want
okay.
I don't want don't
Yeah,
think it's
a
like
flavor,
that, but
like
there's
a
enough
flavor of it.
Yeah, because it's like
Okay.
kind of tactical, but there's no grid, and there's a lot of like movement elements. So like in terms of where it's important where you're standing, you can like push and shove people. So it does have some Midnight Suns-ness to it. So I think in that way it actually might work for you pretty straightforwardly.
Yeah, we'll see. I think it's either that or Alan Wake then, because I don't like Elden Ring.
right.
April for Elden Ring just sounds too soon to me, but I think that DLC will be played this year by me. Just
Yeah.
April sounds like I'm not ready in my place of life to do that right
Gotta jump
now.
me for review. Gotta
What?
be there.
That's the tough thing, because I know that's
On the
there,
calendar.
but yeah.
If I put it on the calendar, you're playing it.
'Cause I don't- is Sarah's getting a DLC? I'll talk to Amanda and be like, you gotta let him play this, you know. So
Yeah,
we'll
maybe
see.
he
It.
will.
It's just like I don't know if I'll be in the headspace for it yet, but
Fair
it'll
enough.
be played in 2024 for sure by me.
Okay. Earthblade is another big one. This is the follow-up from the developer of Celeste. It's their next game. It's more of a Metroidvania. This game is going to be amazing. Celeste was like, I forget if it was I think it might have been nom for Game of the Year at the Game Awards. Like that was one of those indies that really breaks through in that huge way. And I have to imagine that Earthblade's going to be that. And it's been developed. I mean, that Celeste came out in 2018, so that's a long time for an indie developer. So I think that's coming out this year, and that game's probably going to be huge. Very much looking forward to that one. There's a remake of Gothic coming out, which is a series I've never played, but it's that dark fantasy, which has been like my pocket right now for games, and I'm reading through The Witcher still. I'm on the 4th book right now, so I just love dark fantasy right now. And Gothic looks right up my alley, so I'm intrigued by that remake. That should probably be coming out this year. Little Nightmares 3 for the horror fans out there. That's probably gonna be pretty good. Lost Records, Bloom and Rage is the follow-up for the Life is Strange developers. That game looks cool. What do you guys think about this one? Multiverses is probably going to relaunch this year. So for anyone who doesn't remember, like they launched the game, but technically it was like, I guess, early access or beta, whatever. And it was out for a few months, and like they had their season passes, and they were undoing new characters and stuff. And then they just took the game down, and they're like, we're going to come back when we have more content. Very weird to me. And I don't know, hopefully like they've built up the sustainability so that when it actually launches again, it's like good to go for good. But do you guys think this game's going to make any sort of splash when it comes out again? Presumably this year, which is why I'm bringing it up here.
I think it's very roster dependent, at least for myself. Like, I don't know. I did enjoy the
If
time
they have
that I was playing
Gandalf
with
in
it.
there, this game of the year.
Exactly.
was supposed to
Exactly.
be,
I'm jumping
right?
in there. Yeah, it was in those early shots that they had. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna be keeping an eye on it for sure. I'm not just gonna write it off, but very perplexing the way that they just removed it.
Yeah, I think they just couldn't keep up with the pace that you need for a Seasons Pass game. So hopefully it's not just like them taking it down for a few months to make a bunch of content and then hope that like sustains them. Hopefully they just like have established a better balance in the way that these games require, like Fortnites or Marvel Snaps and all those things.
Definitely.
Do you guys think you'll be jumping into that again though? Like, I guess once again, it's kind of depend on the roster for you.
Yeah.
Honestly, for me, if there's no Lord of the Rings or like Harry Potter characters, I don't think I'll download it again.
Yeah.
I agree. I think I will download it because we never got to play. Did we play it on the stream? Was it around when we did one of our extra live streams?
Oh, man,
I don't
I
know if it
played it on the
was.
stream.
I think it slipped through the
Did
cracks.
we?
So
I remember playing it with you guys. I thought it was in the stream context.
So
It's in the
maybe
wee
there,
hours.
but yeah, maybe roster. I had a good enough time with it, so maybe. But yeah, there's so much stuff. So yeah, get some Lord of the Rings in there.
Star Wars Outlaws, Star Wars Eclipse. Are these games coming out this year?
Eclipse
For no.
Outlaws. I think it's rumored late 2024. I would put
Okay.
it probably early 2025.
That would make. I feel like
December
Ubisoft
slot.
likes to have that big November drop, right?
Yeah, because I feel like they do that this year, and then next year's hopefully the Assassin's Creed Japan game, right? Like that would make sense for the next.
Hopefully.
Well, that leads
Yeah.
into like I was going to ask Taylor. Do you think there's any Assassin's Creed game coming out this year? Considering that Mirage is like
No.
a bit of a smaller and I think a different developer than like the Valhalla developer or whatever.
I say no, but I'm not holding my breath on it. I could see them, like they've done that in the past where they drop a trailer and the like spring,
Maybe a DLC pack for
summertime.
Mirage or something is what you get this year.
Maybe they could do that. They're not ones to turn away from dropping a trailer like spring, summer, and then hey, the game's dropping in November, late
Yeah.
October. So
Taylor, what would you rather take? A new Assassin's Creed or Star Wars? You're picking Star Wars, right?
I'd pick Star Wars. If I want to play Assassin's Creed, I can go back and play
I
a
was gonna
plethora of
say,
Assassin's Creed
yeah.
titles. I need more Star Wars right
Did
now.
you ever
So.
beat Mirage?
Nope, still working through it.
Thought so.
Call of Duty,
It's called what they call it.
Have you beat Cyberpunk yet?
Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
Oh.
I
When I'm in
saw
the
this guy's
retirement home,
Xbox
come
wrap.
ask
He
me.
only played Call of Duty
There's a lot of hours in there.
and Texas Chainsaw. A lot of that as well.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Respect.
Kirkland, any thoughts on those two Star Wars titles? Are you excited for either of those? Are you hyped for
Kind
them?
of low priority, honestly, on my like
Wow.
even Fallen Order and Jedi Survivor, like those titles I dabbled in a little bit, but like I don't know, it just didn't really do it for me. I
Yeah.
got a little bit excited on that KOTOR trailer release, which was
Yeah, who knows what the hell's
downfall.
going on with that?
Outlaws, I think I'm gonna keep an eye on Outlaws. Like if it reviews well and maybe I just hear word of mouth, it's really positive, I could see myself possibly jumping in there. But I don't know. I just need to know a little bit more about it. And yeah, Eclipse. No, thank you. I don't think it's coming out this year.
What about Star Wars Hunters 2024?
Yeah, sure.
Is it the mobile game?
It's that Switch one.
Could be.
You gonna draft it again, Taylor?
Is that game still not out? That's insane.
No, it's not.
Yeah, I mean,
Never
there's that. And then
Revealed
there's-
2021. By the
what
way,
was the
or
one that you
something.
mentioned, Travis, earlier? That Star Wars game?
Oh, with Eclipse
Dark
no.
Forces.
or
Dark Forces, was
Yeah,
it?
that's gonna come up before.
Big year for
Hunters.
Star Wars games potentially. Well,
Yeah.
it sounds like Eclipse. You guys aren't confident on that one, but Outlaws maybe.
No,
So
that's too quick. If I had my choice of what would come out, it would be it'd be of course KOTOR, but that game's dead.
Mhm.
So it would be Eclipse, but I don't.
Yeah.
That's been so quiet. I at least can look at Ubisoft and they announce the game. At least know, you know what, this is gonna come out. Other than Beyond Good and Evil, which I was gonna
yeah,
say,
you can bring that up. Go for
I'll
it.
bring that up now. I saw on the list that apparently this year a 20th year edition is coming out. So that's gonna come
for the
out.
original game.
Yeah. So I guess that's.
I
gonna come
want
out
to check
before
that out.
the-
Actually, I've been always been very curious what the hell that game actually is.
I'm just
I
curious.
think I think that first one's like critically acclaimed and whatnot.
Oh yeah, there's a big fan
Yeah.
base. I remember when it got announced when we were doing the E3, lots of people were hyped, but that game's still cooking. Those fans are still sending
Still
their
waiting.
designs to Elijah or Joseph Levitt, right? So
It's gonna be the
Right.
21st
Oh my God.
anniversary when they eventually get to it. Maybe 22nd anniversary.
yeah,
Yeah,
Hopefully the Switch
25th.
launch game.
Why not wait till the 25th? It's a nice, better number.
Yeah.
There's a couple of quick hits. These are things from the Game Awards, so we kind of talked about these recently. But the casting of Frank Stone is the next game from the Until Dawn and
Oh,
Quarry
fuck
developer.
yeah.
I always forget the name of that studio, but that's their next game. So that game looks cool. Visions of Mana, another great JRPG coming out this year. Pony Island 2, I'm very excited for. That's the next game from the Inscription developer. I'll announce this. I'm definitely gonna do a retro for Pony Island 1 this year. It'll probably be me by myself. If anyone else wants to check it out, you're welcome to come for the journey. But I got to go check that first game out before this one comes out because Inscription is one of the coolest games ever. So yeah, very excited for that. Indie game, I think Plucky Squire is going to be huge. That game looks amazing. I don't know if you guys remember
Oh,
this one.
yeah,
It
that
starts
one
out with
looks
like that
sweet.
storybook,
Yeah.
kind of a 2D sort of game. Then at some point you jump out of the storybook and you're like in this kind of childhood bedroom and you can walk around the space in a 3D world. You can like turn the pages and go to different points in the 2D world. Like really, really cool game. Some of the best art I've ever seen. It's actually like, I think one of the main guys who did like Pokemon art for like 15 years, like went off and made his own studio and was making this game. So looks really, really, really great. Baby Steps, also from the Game Awards, or I think we saw it at the Game Awards, but we've seen it a few times. That game looks hilarious. I think that's coming out this year. So shouts to that one. Hades 2, which of course was a huge like Game of the Year game when that came out. This is technically only, I think, hitting early access this year. So it's still a big notable launch, but probably maybe a bit bigger when it hits 1.0 perhaps. A couple IP ones I had to mention. That John Carpenter Talk as a Commando game looked freaking fun to me, and
Yeah, you're
I'm
excited for that one, yeah.
it's on my radar. And then I know this one was exciting for you, Travis. Killer Clowns from Outer Space. I think that's probably coming out this year.
Yeah, I was excited, but I don't think I'll be buying it.
No, Just
No,
like the idea of its existence.
I think you may have oversold my excitement. I think I was intrigued.
I thought
but
you were
don't know.
pretty hyped on it, but okay. Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
wrong.
maybe that was Taylor.
I was definitely me because I
Oh, was it?
love
Okay.
Yeah.
I love the movie, and when I saw that was like in the works, I was like, oh my god, this is crazy.
I just said it because I don't know if I've ever been excited for anything Clowns from Outer Space wise. But hey, if it's free like Texas Chainsaw, I'd be down to jump in there and see what's going on.
Because I believe Ilphonic took over work on that, and Ilphonic has a
Ooh.
good track record.
They're just
at least with
getting
me.
every fucking franchise in horror. Like, let's do a horror game and make it similar but a little different. So nice.
This has got to be the year of Hollow Knight Silk Song, but I've been saying that for years. I got screwed over in the draft because I had that and it didn't come out last
Pick
year.
it
so
again.
I honestly might. I honestly might. Because, once again, that first game came out, I think, 2018. It had some DLC and whatnot, but still, like, for an indie developer, that is a long time. I mean, I guess when your game is that successful and you're multi-millionaire after one game, you can afford to take that time. But, yeah, I hope that comes out this year finally. I think the Wonder Woman game is supposed to come out this year.
No.
Anyone?
way.
Anyone? You don't think so? Why not?
Where's that?
Shadow of War came out like 100 years ago. Like, what has that developer been doing other than working on this? And legitimately, it came out probably like 6 years ago, 7 years ago at this point.
Yeah, what's the timeline then? What are you thinking?
Like in terms of this year? And
Yeah, like a month
what
or
pocket?
a quarter. I just feel like there's not been enough chutzpah behind it for it to come out.
What about fall? What about fall? So it has like maybe an announcement soon here, and then
Yeah.
like a big summer game fest, big pop off there, and then drops in November, October.
Fall's like the
Q4.
latest I would give you. I just felt like if it was coming out this year, we would have got something at the Game Awards, and we didn't. So I feel like it's a game. The same way with Spider-Man, it's like we got that tease, and it still was quite a while. And we got the tease of Wonder Woman last year, right? It was, I think, last year, or
It might have been 2 or 3 years ago. At this
Yeah,
point.
maybe.
Probably 2 years ago. I want
At
to
least
say.
2.
I'll have to pull up when that date was. If it was 2, then I can get on board with the whole this year. But if it was last year, but yeah, I would love it too. That would be floating my boat big time because I loved both those Lord of the Rings games. The fucking Nemesis system with Wonder Woman would be tons of fun. Like that's
A lot of
and
potential.
yeah, and I like that they a couple of months ago confirmed, hey, it's not games for servers because there's that rumor going around, remember? But that
Okay,
they
yep.
said nope, that's not a thing. So it's like, hey, perfect. So I think that has tons of potential. But yeah, okay. Oh Jesus, never mind. Announced December 2021.
Wow. It's got to be time, right?
I would say so. Now I would. So yeah, I'll take fall. I'll take a Summer Games Fest reveal, some build up, and then, or if it's not, it's a early 2025.
Shadow of War is 2017. That was the year the
Well,
Switch came out.
Star Fox Zero was 2016, and we're not talking about no new game for Star Fox, But no, I think it could be it. And you know why it would be a good time? Because DC also just has one movie. They don't got much going on next year, so a hype game.
Right.
They're gonna
The fan
want
base, yeah.
And you know what they should do? Suicide Squad's gonna come out bomb. March, you announce that right away. February, you lick your wounds, and then March, you come out. Guess what? You guys don't like this fucking game? Well, we got a one-room game coming, single player, made by these people. I'm not even joking.
That's
like
what they say. Specifically. You don't fucking like the first game? What about
that
this?
Suicide Squad, yeah, it was
Oh
dog
my
shit.
God.
Hey, well, we got Wonder Woman. So you know what? I'll say yes. You're right on that one this year, and I think that's gonna be tons of fun. I'm really excited for that. Is that a Dylan pickup? I know it's Kirkland pickup, but
Oh yeah.
I got to see more, honestly, because
you didn't love those games.
as I've talked about, I didn't really like the Mordor games, and I love Lord of the Rings. So,
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I should probably give them another shot. But yeah, I mean, honestly, with this year, I think there's a lot of potential for me to pick up games I wouldn't normally just because of how empty the calendar is looking right now. Now, once again, like indie games usually don't put their release dates until it's very close. So
Yeah.
if there's a ton of more like a million indie games I'm looking out for, and I just don't really know when they're coming out yet. So there honestly is a chance I picked that one up. I don't care at all about Suicide Squad, but yeah, Wonder Woman. It looks well. I guess we haven't really seen much, but I just feel like all the pieces are there for it to be great.
Yes.
But yeah, Kirkland, is that like a lock-in game day one for you, or do you probably still want to see a trailer at least? I guess, but
Yeah, like if the trailer comes out, it's a completely different game than what they mentioned.
It's a PS3
then,
game.
Maybe,
Skull and
maybe
Bones.
not. Yeah, exactly. But if it is what they're promising, that's absolutely day one. I love those Shadow of Mordor games. I love the combat system. Wonder Woman on top of that. That's super exciting.
Like just do that, but Wonder Woman skinned. Have the lasso
Yeah.
of truth.
Yeah.
Good to go. You know.
Urukai, Mordor.
Oh, that'd be
Yeah,
awesome.
that
It's not-
crossover?
yeah,
That would be
that'd be
cool. Man.
huge. Yeah, and the good thing is with the Wonder Woman thing is I think they can tell a much better story because the stories in those games were always very, to me, just kind of mid and fun.
Oh,
Like,
100%.
Yeah, like it was
taking
cool
on
to see the-
Sauron with a quick time event. Like, fuck off with that.
Yeah, like it was cool to see the iconography, but to be like, none of this stuff happened with this guy's soul linked to the ring. It's like it was never believable. It was like,
Yeah.
okay, I get you want to do this, and you bought it because the game was so enjoyable. But I think with this, it's going to be its own thing, so that they can really just they don't got to worry like, oh, we can't move this forward because we don't want to meet Frogo Baggins. You know, like you can do whatever you want. Like, what about you, Taylor? You haven't said much on Wonder Woman.
I just want to see more about what it has like in this trailer because I never played Shadow of War, but I played Shadow of Mordor and I really enjoyed it. So I feel like that should apply to a few more different like IPs and franchises because it's great. And just the idea too, like characters you kill can come back. I feel like that would really work well in like a superhero setting because like a supervillain could come back and be like, oh, you thought you had me last time. I'm here to get my revenge. And you have to actually like kill them to keep them down, but
It's
it's
super graphic.
dark.
It's too bad they fucking patented that tech so that other studios can't do cool things with it. But
That was smart of them, though. You got to admit, though, like it sucks for us, but for them as a company, very smart.
Imagine if that's like in a Spider-Man game,
We'll
you
see.
actually have to like break the villain's neck to like make them not come back later.
no one dies in Spider-Man. If you fling him off the roof, they're like, "Oh no, he's fine. He's okay."
Remember me if you
I'm like, Insomniac, you are lying to me. That guy definitely died. Taylor, what do you think Call of Duty is going to release this year? What are we going to do? We did Modern Warfare 3 was the last thing. Is it another remakey sort of thing? Do they do Advanced Warfare 7? Like, what are they at? What do they do now?
What was the rumor? I think it's been like another Black Ops has been the rumor.
It
or
is.
like a
That is
sequel
the
to Black
rumor.
Ops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We get
Sorry, is it
Captain-
like a Black Ops 1 re-release sort of thing, or is it like a new one?
No, I think it's just a new one that's just either it's kind of picking one of the older Black Ops titles to succeed from, or it's just a direct sequel to like Black Ops 4 or something like that.
Okay.
They
Yeah.
got to Black Ops 4?
We got the Black Ops 4, and that's where Battle Royale
Jesus.
first dropped, was actually in Black Ops 4 with Blackout. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think
Wow.
it's just a sequel from the rumors I've heard. Just like it's fall to Black Ops. So.
Yeah, and then Warzone, of course, is going to have its releases this year as well. A couple new maps, I'm sure.
Resurgence or Rebirth Island, that's coming back. Cannot
yeah.
wait.
Go start that download.
Do you guys think construction or no construction? Do you think they have the OG one, or is it going to be?
Maybe it'll be built now because it's
I
no
hope
longer a
not.
construction site.
I could see it be OG. I like Construction Zone more than that like 3-level building they have.
Yeah,
there.
Dylan, I guess you never play the
Yeah.
Fallout. They do build it. The construction, it does get built.
Oh, okay.
To like a tower room, and it was just never the same. You know, it's like,
Okay.
yeah, that'd be
Just
nice.
go through
Hopefully it
that
gets
again, though.
knocked
Let's
down.
start with the base, and then they build it. And then they knock it down, like Dylan just said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Taylor,
Cycle
getting
of
that
life.
Captain America skin you told me about 5 years ago.
Maybe.
This
Someone
man's
said there
like,
was
"Oh,
code
I got-
for it.
Yeah, for Indiana Jones and Captain America. I'm like, there's no fucking way they're putting Captain America in this game. And
It fit the setting because they dropped Vanguard at the time. It was World War II and all that. So, yeah, but it's not to be.
I feel like Punisher would fit better than Captain America.
oh man, I'll play 10 battle passes to get Frank Castle if they get
Careful.
Punisher. Fuck. Yeah.
Anything else? Any other games that you guys expect this year that we haven't talked about yet?
No,
You mentioned Fable already. That's just like a fleeting.
There's no way that's
thing.
coming out this year.
Yeah.
Zero chance. 2026 at the earliest, in my opinion.
Sci-fi numbers. I don't like that.
I know. I hate to
Yeah.
say it.
No, I think we hit it all. I think we hit all on the stuff that's realistically
Yeah.
could come out.
Yeah, we
or
could
be
speculate all day
announced.
about other things,
Yeah.
but
No, I'm excited. Excited to see what awaits. You know, you got me excited
Yeah.
with that Wonder Woman pick though, because I completely had functioned that out of my mind for this year. So I'm hoping that's true.
Yeah, man. I mean, that's they have to release a game at some point, or else the studio just closes because they run out of money. I don't know, like, especially with being a Warner Bros. Situation. So, yeah. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Once again, we will be back next week for the video game draft. We're all going to pick some games, and yeah, that should be a good time as it usually is. But yeah, thank you everyone so much for listening. Let us know what your most anticipated games of the year are. And yeah, we will catch you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.